We now have videotape showing that people pre-positioned weapons around Washington, D.C., evidence that this has been planned by some people. Are they going to get that question answered? Can they answer the question being, why was the police chief, the Capitol Police Chief, denied 6 times when he asked for assistance, both before this even began and as it was happening? Can they explain why they didn't anticipate potential problems? And what role would Nancy Pelosi, the Sergeant at Arms, have in preparing for such moments? Many of you will now peacefully and patriotically march to the Capitol so your voices will be heard. Now, you say that I'm changing the subject. I am saying that a riot is a riot, and if it's wrong on January 6th, as I believe it is, then the 574 riots that took place that Democrats were silent about, why isn't there a commission on that? We lost 25 people, thousands of cops were injured, police stations burned to the ground, businesses looted and burned to the ground, and we barely heard a peep out of them.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you something about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun, sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 770 cities around the world. We just put 12 years of broadcast excellence into the can. Now in our 13th year, the Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. The Biden, Obama, Harris, Pelosi, Schumer, AOC administration have lost all credibility as they are no longer hiding their intention to lead us by science, election results, common sense. They are no longer persuading us to do things unconstitutional. They are mandating us to do things unconstitutional under threat of punishment, of fines, or incarceration. But it's all falling apart. Biden and his Attorney General, Garland, are threatening federal involvement in audits. That is not their venue. The elections are for the states. And these audits are showing solid evidence of cheating on a massive, organized, worldwide basis. The Biden administration's panic is showing as polls drop like a plane full of Texas Democrats who self-infected our capital. Speaking of which, another attack from our evil speaker, Nancy Pelosi, organizing yet another stake burning of our real president, Donald J. Trump. As evidence grows, fact checkers on social media are hesitating, and Twitter is closing offices. I'm smelling desperation, and I'm sensing even Dems are seeking the few lifeboats remaining on this Titanic of an administration. Let's throw them a floating device that only works when reasonableness sets in. Let's give them a chance to be human beings, as I did with a liberal journalist yesterday. As I made my case to her on COVID responsibility being placed upon our government and not conservative talk show hosts like me and Tucker Carlson. Just ask yourself, what would God do if people prayed to be forgiven of their sins? And if we can get a few of them on board, we could make this country somewhat bipartisan again. Just remember, Donald Trump was once a liberal. Hi there, welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. My name is Dave Weinbaum. I'm your radio talk show host. I'm here with radio legends, the producer Rick Henderson, and the senior producer J.P. Maxwell.
Yep. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And I didn't introduce my wife first because she's still busy getting herself together. She's here though. Hi there, Lisa Ann Weinbaum.
Hi.
What do you got? What are you doing? Oh, okay. I thought there was a whip out or something. No! It just started. How can you do this to me? Okay, now I'm moving on here. No, ow. Okay, that one hurt because I wasn't expecting it. All right, listen, I think we got somebody on the phone. I'm not sure. Why don't we play a song just in case?
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday.
You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. Ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a big treat. We have the 253-year-old man on the phone, and I'm sure he's been stretching and doing his calisthenics this morning. And this man was alive and actually went to bars with George Washington, Ben Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson to pick up women. But way back in the old days in Northern Virginia, ye old tavern. Anyways, he's got all this information, all this wisdom, and it's all under one tinfoil hat. Please welcome to the show none other than John Jeffrey Bradshaw.
Thank you so much. That
my
applause
pleasure.
from Newburgh has humbled me.
Welcome to the show. You're in Newburgh, did you say?
No, I said that applause came from Newburgh.
Okay. You knew that.
Me.
See, why do I question you when you already knew it? So why even question you? I will ask you this because I'm curious. What is under that tinfoil hat of yours?
Dave, some things have stuck in my craw this week, and the top of the list, that infrastructure bill, 700 pages of garbage. That thing passed 67-32 in the Senate, thus bypassing a filibuster. And that triggers 30 hours of debate for this thing. Now, if you remember, Nancy Pelosi claimed that this thing would never get off the ground unless her $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill, which is full of social programs, was passed. What kills me about this thing, and it reminds me so much of Obamacare, is that not only is there not an executive summary of this thing for me to read, the legislative text has not yet been written. Yet the Senate passed this thing, at least to get it into debate. You know what that means? Nobody read it.
Yeah.
Because the text wasn't there to be read, and our state Senator Roy Blunt voted for it.
Yeah, you got 30
well as a bunch
GOP
of other
at least.
rhinos.
Yeah.
Obamacare was passed exactly like this. If you recall, in the House, Nancy Pelosi said, and I quote, "You can read the text of the bill after you vote for it."
Yeah.
Now, this smacks of something less than our representative republic. This thing smacks of dictatorship. This thing smacks of bait and switch. Nobody read this thing. Nobody. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be another week or so before the text of this is actually published. And of course, I will read the executive summary of it when it comes out.
Let
But
me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
tactics,
Does Biden get to sign it into law without having the actual text?
Well, no, because this thing is going to drag on. There's 30 hours of debate.
Yeah.
In that debate, now that 30 hours can be stretched, and I'm sure the Republicans will attempt to stretch it. However, Chuck Schumer running the Senate is going to leave very little chance of Republicans getting any input in this thing in debate. He will rig the rules so the Democrats can essentially filibuster this thing. But doesn't that just kill you that these people can vote for a legislative package that no one has read?
See, I can't believe that's legal.
How is it possible?
I can't believe that's legal. You should have a text to read and then vote it to be discussed, and then vote on the final thing, and it doesn't change from that time till it gets to the president.
That's what the founding fathers had intended.
Yeah.
But these folks have perverted this thing, where they claim this is an administrative problem, that this thing is such a moving target. Well, I don't want to vote for a moving target. I want to vote for something that is fixed and everyone's had a chance to look at it and debate it and ponder it, instead of voting for something and then mysteriously a week later the text appear, which may bear no resemblance at all to what was discussed previously.
Yep.
This is just wrong, and it's been done in the House of Representatives, and now it's being done in the Senate.
Yeah, where it's like 50-50 for Republicans, so it's real bipartisan, as you said. So we got a problem. Anyways, what else you got under that tinfoil hat?
Well, that thing was the biggest stinker.
Yeah.
Stinker number 2 is Cuba.
Yeah.
If you look at our southern borders, Texas and Arizona, people are flooding through that border.
Yep.
Being put on buses and aircraft, shipped all over the country. Maybe a COVID test, maybe not. People
Mostly not,
here from Cuba,
from what I hear. Mostly not.
Their lives.
Yep.
Risking their lives, are being sent back to Cuba. They're being caught and sent back to prison or death. Now, why is this? Well, the folks flooding across our southern border are likely to vote Democrat. The folks coming from Cuba want nothing to do with Marxism. They're likely to be Republican voters.
Yeah.
So we got to send those back. You know, Castro gets those. This immigration policy is so starkly politicized, and nobody's saying anything about it.
Well, it's incredible because it has so much damage that they're bringing into the United States. First of all, it's damaging the children who are COVID, many of whom are there because their parents paid the cartels as traffickers, sex traffickers, and then there's the fentanyl problem, which we're going to talk about here a little later, that you take a little bit of that stuff and you're dead. And it's not just identifiable as fentanyl. They actually put this in some of the other medicines and or drugs that you're taking. You don't even know you're taking it, and it'll kill you. 2 milligrams will kill you.
And there's a pretty good argument for not taking drugs, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but who knows when they're going to start putting this stuff in regular medicine or maybe into vaccines. Do you ever think of that?
Hadn't thought of that one, but it's kind of a stretch. But yeah, maybe.
Okay. The big stretch now is to have these vaccines. Now, if you want to talk about that, I want to include Rick here a little bit. Rick wants to tell us about the Nuremberg Code. Do you know anything about the Nuremberg Code? Because it was World War II, and you were getting pretty old by that time. So
first time I've ever heard of it, but I might have been otherwise engaged.
We have all signed off on this after World War II. The whole world signed off on this. Hit it, Rick.
Yes. Hello, JJ.
Good morning.
The Nuremberg Code was created in 1947, and my understanding is the entire world signed off on it after World War II. And it's got 10 items in it. And I'm going to read about half of item number 1 right here. It goes like this: the voluntary consent of the human subject is absolutely essential. This means that the person involved should have legal capacity to give consent, should be so situated as to be able to exercise free power of choice without the intervention of any element of force, fraud, deceit, duress, overreaching, or other ulterior form of constraint or coercion, and should have sufficient knowledge and comprehension of the elements of the subject matter involved as to be able to make an understanding and enlightened decision. And I tell you, what I see going on with the shots in America, it's a violation of this first one right here, and matter of fact, of all 10 of them. So,
all right,
there you go, Dave.
That's a little update on that. And I don't know if anybody else knows about this. Rick brought it in. So what do you think of that, JJ?
Well, this is the first I've heard of that, but it doesn't surprise me. It's clear that we have a federal government that's not particularly interested in the rule of law. This is more of a dictatorship, essentially dictated by a fool. And speaking of fools, Biden said the other day this is just another of his most recent gaffes. Every time he opens his mouth, a new gaffe falls out. But he claims to have driven an 18-wheeler. Well, one of the investigative reporters, probably a conservative, did a little background looking. And the fact is that Joe Biden rode in an 18-wheeler for an afternoon with a trucker. And in no time did he drive that. I can't say that I blame the trucker for not allowing him to drive it. The man's barely competent to find the restroom. But another gaffe from Joe. He opens his mouth and these pearls just drop out.
It's not a gaffe, it's a lie. He's been lying about himself his whole life.
Frankly, I think in his mind he's done these things. I think the poor man is deluded and really can't see the line.
Even when he wasn't deluded, he said he had graduated at the top of his class in law school, and that was a total lie. I mean, he just tells a lot of lies. And then he gets caught, and then he doesn't know what to do. You know, he is not presidential. Let's put it. They say Donald Trump isn't presidential. What do you have now?
Man.
You know what? Let's play the Brit for JJ. We're going to play something else for you, JJ.
Okay.
So
I love America. It's an amazing place. And do you know what I've come to realize, right? Americans, you basically do everything that we do, but you do it bigger and you do it better. Like, we have stupid people here. But your stupid people are world class. And that is not me saying, oh, all Americans are stupid. No, America also has the smartest people on the planet. What I'm saying is that when America does stupid, you do stupid. Like, our village idiot is in a park shouting at clouds. Yours is president.
I mean, he's
nicely done.
A village idiot might be, like, nice. He is not nice. He's mean, he's evil, and he's vindictive. He is punishing America. He is punishing America, and now his polls are starting to collapse. And it says it's, 50% or under. Well, I guess, think about the pollsters and who they are. I'd deduct at least another 15% off of that, and that may not be enough. So he's probably down around 35% or something like that. And it's dropping. Okay? That's a lot of Democrats in there, too. It's not just Republicans. A lot of independents. So now I feel something's happening. Twitter.
I have a bit of a statistic for you.
Go ahead.
If you'd like to hear it.
Go ahead.
The polls have been recently polling hard about Nancy Pelosi's January 6th committee, which, by the way, she booted 2 Republican nominees out of it. It happened that they were conservative nominees. But as far as the pollsters go, 52% of Republicans oppose the Jan 6 committee. That's an increase of 9%. 52% of the independents oppose it, which is an increase of 8%. And not at all surprisingly, 83% of the Democrats support it, which is no change. So you can see there's a partisan divide here that is rapidly expanding. One more gaffe on Biden. The Postal Union strongly endorsed Biden in the election. They were one of the unions that was most behind him. And now they are howling about the mask mandates, claiming that it's injurious to their employees, their union folks. Well, now, it's not unusual for a union to back away from a president when the president starts doing stupid things. But the Postal Union is pretty darn big, and they're pretty darn Democrat, and they have been for decades. Well, literally since there has been a postal union, and I think that was in the late 1960s when that was organized. They've been a Democrat-supported organization.
I thought it was in the 1690s, even before you were born.
For them to be poking rods at Joe Biden's policies is a surprising break. They've generally gone in lockstep with Biden. And you mentioned the DOJ sending memos to the states, the states that want to clean up their elections, Arizona and Georgia, obviously. It looks like Pennsylvania is likely to start audits pretty soon, and there are others.
Yeah. Wisconsin just announced it.
Yeah, in Wisconsin.
And they've got about 20 states so far. I'm thinking that the Arizona forensic audit, as Rick reminded me earlier, is might be the model for all the states, and maybe they all do it after these elections, after especially this one.
Possibly. The question that hit me the hardest on that was, what is the motivation? Why would these states be motivated to audit elections that are in the books already?
Yeah.
And the answer that I came up with is their constituents, these elected representatives, are, of course, getting beat up by their constituents, saying, hey, we think something smells here. We suspect that there has been tomfoolery in the elections, and you need to look at it. Well, for a while, an elected representative can ignore this stuff until there's a groundswell where you can't ignore it anymore. And I think that's what is occurring in these states, that people like me and you are saying, wait a minute, this thing was stolen. We want to get to the bottom of this. You, Mr. Elected Representative, are the one in the hot seat. You need to make this happen.
This is
the biggest, it is starting to happen.
The biggest First Amendment rights case ever. You've got a potential of 80 to 85 million plaintiffs who had their civil rights trampled. And I've heard it from a DOJ lawyer himself and Yale Law Review that your First Amendment is equal to your vote. Okay? So, I don't care who does it and who, how they have to do it, but if it does go to the Supreme Court and they knock this out, then we have no more Supreme Court, and we have to take other measures to fix and remedy.
And we will have no more First or Second Amendment at that point.
You got it. All right, my friend, what else you got?
Dave, that's it. Love your show. Keep on fighting the good fight. It needs to be done. I'll be listening to the rest of it. God bless you, Dave.
Well, thank you for being one of my generals, and I appreciate that. And God bless you. J.J. Bradshaw. Yes, Rick.
Yes, I just want to mention, I was watching some videos this week of the Biden motorcade traveling through Pennsylvania, and it reminded me so much of a really old Alfred Hitchcock movie called The Birds, because it was incredible how many birds were flying around that motorcade.
You sure it wasn't vultures? I saw those poles,
Yes.
I'm wondering myself. Really, I get the feeling. They just came out, Garland, with Joe Biden standing behind him, and I don't know if this maybe was a picture that they attached to other story, but that he is out there trying to meddle with these states that are doing these audits. Something's up. I mean, if those elections were, by the book, as they claimed, there should be no problem. But we're finding out that ain't it.
Usually if you're trying to hide something, then you are taking the very action that they're taking. So that, to me, that says a lot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you have nothing to hide, then what's the problem?
Yeah, and these audits have to become. This is the biggest item, the biggest news item that is not covered by anybody other than me and OAN.
That's it. Literally, that's it.
Yeah. So if you're listening to the show, you're really getting a lot of unique stuff. And that brings me to who's on the show. Well, we just had J.J. Bradshaw, my great opening act. Coming up, we've got Chris Adamo. Did I say it right?
Very good. Very
Chris
good.
Adamo.
He's been practicing.
I've been practicing, who now has his own song. And he's going to talk about all this stuff, including the 1-6 committee. And he wrote the book. Let's see. It's How to Defeat Radicals. Something like that, right?
It's pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And it's based on the Saul Alinsky book, Rules for Radicals. So Saul Alinsky has taken on a little bit of an opponent, and he's needed one for about 50, 60 years. He's dead now. But that's what they base all this stuff on. They base it on going after people, lying about them, isolating them, then having the press copy it, and then you cite the press. And that's the whole Pelosi thing.
I still can't believe she actually admitted that on camera that's a tactic.
And people say, oh, no, she was talking about the Republicans. No way.
No, she wasn't.
No way. Okay, so we've got Chris Adamo coming on. We got Joe Alexander coming on at about 9:15. He was the head guy. He was the guy that ran all the rallies for Trump, and he was with Trump for 6 years.
I love listening to Joe. He's always got some good insight for us.
He's got some good insight. He's got a good sense of humor, good Illinois boy, and a track star in Illinois. We can maybe get a little bit of Olympic news if anybody cares about that. We've got the Latina on fire, Liz Farinas, coming on to give us a Cuba report. And then we've got one of the AZ audit boys, that would be Jeff Zink, coming on at 10:30. So, okay, now what do we got here? We got Pamela, and that's it so far. Good morning, Pamela. How are you? And if you want to call the show, it's 573-578-2700. Call, get it off your chest. Or you can message me on Facebook. I got the screen right in front of my face, and I glance at it often and then they start blocking me from it, obviously.
Then if you're listening on the website, you can also comment there, and we're checking those for comments as well.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Great. Okay, I want to get into something I referred to earlier about talking to Democrats. Yesterday, a liberal journalist named Jessica De La Davies, she posted, did you lose a loved one to COVID-19 because of lies told by the pundits on Fox News? And then there was a thing about a little clip of Tucker Carlson talking about it, and saying that Fauci was responsible for the pandemic. And I noted to her that I heard Fauci testify that he contributed to them. There was objection to it, but I heard that he did it. And she retorts that read Snopes. So I did. I read Snopes. And Snopes, all Snopes did was that they hadn't made a decision yet. So I sent her that. And then I told her about my good friend Dave O'Reilly, actually my best friend Dave O'Reilly, that after he took his first shot, Moderna, this was in March. So I really didn't know too much about taking the vaccine and if it caused any damage. Between the first and the second jab, he had a heart attack and a stroke and died. All right? Now, so that could be an anomaly, right? But since then, a lot of people that I know who were partially or fully vaccinated have tested positive and had to be quarantined. I've got that all over my businesses. We're trying to stay open every day with not knowing who is going to test positive. And we're in the epicenter right now of this. And so where's the science on this? The science said that if you take the vaccines, you were immune. Well, that's bunk, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you.
There's been a lot of people that have got sick and started spreading around after they've got even the second vaccination shot.
Right. So anyways, I relayed her that Snopes hadn't ruled yet, and her answer was, amazingly, I agree with you. Americans deserve the truth. It's becoming very difficult to tell what is actual news versus what is someone's opinions.
Or what we would call fake news.
Yeah, I mean,
that a certain president warned us about.
I know this gal's a liberal. She's a big-time journalist. She's with a lot of liberal organizations, and yet she copped to the plea. And it didn't take her long either. So I consider that a small victory. And I told her I was going to talk about her on the show today. Here we go. Judy Brown Eckert works for me. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Judy. How are you? And she's got something else there. There are people with vaccines who are carrying it and spreading it. So, yeah. So, and now we got, first of all, when the thing started, all the Democrats were saying when the pandemic started way back in, let's say 2020, was it 2020? Yeah, I think.
Yep.
Beginning of 2020, when we first got alerted to it, and Trump says is concerned, and he's thinking about shutting down China travel to here. Oh, my God, the Democrats. They went out and they gathered crowds and said, this is malarkey. You don't need masks. None of you need masks. Fauci, you don't need masks. Okay? And then Trump closed China from traveling here. And nobody on that panel, including Fauci and Birx, I believe Birx was there, nobody said he should do that. They all criticized him for that. And so now they've completely reversed themselves. They shut down for a 15-day deal. They found out, and they put everybody in these, as Bondino calls it, these mask diapers, which is what they are. And a lot of people still died. A lot of people got it. They still haven't figured that one out. And yet they're telling us this is science. And I've got big doctors on Fox News. Mark Siegel, very, very likable guy. He's the guy that gave his father the, what is it, hydrochloroquine? Mm-hmm. Hydroxychloroquine. Right. His father had it. He was 96 years old, and it saved him. Now the guy is telling us that only 1 out of 10,000 people who have taken the vaccine will get this. That's bunk. Where does he get this information? It is total bunk. Okay? All right, I got another one from Judy. What's your thoughts on Tomi Lahren? I love her. She always speaks the truth. You should get her on your show. She loves getting stuff off her chest. J.P. Maxwell, do you know who I am talking about?
Actually, okay. I don't. I haven't heard that name yet.
So, and I actually tried when she was first coming up through the ranks to get her
really?
on the show.
Well,
I've tried with a lot of people.
Maybe we'll try it again.
I've tried with a lot of people. She's a Fox person now. You can't get these Fox people on there. Who's Lowen?
Correct. She corrected the spelling on the last name.
That's no problem. Yeah, I know she is, and JP doesn't, but he does now. She came up like a local gal doing a podcast, and she's got a lot of talent. So anyway, they've got these Democrats on a plane spreading this illness, and the Biden administration is the biggest spreader of the pandemic ever. And yet they're insisting that we go back and wear masks inside.
Now even the NFL's come out and said that if a not vaccinated but a unvaccinated player causes a COVID outbreak, then not only is the game forfeited for his team, both teams don't get game checks. It's all just a force of hand trying to get everybody to get vaccinated.
It's illegal. It's anti-constitutional. Yep. And it's not based on science. There's no science here. If there is science, I mean, the CDC came out and said, oh, yeah, we'll get you the science later. Sort of like getting the bill later.
Right.
You know, you just vote for the bill, then we'll tell you what's in it. That kind of stuff. That stuff must not be done. Okay, we got 4 minutes until we have Joe Alexander coming on, and that should be fun. Why don't we do our first commercial?
And as always, make sure and support our sponsors because they're help keep the show going on the air.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Kent's Jewelry does custom engravings for almost anything. Awards, signs, guns, swords, mugs, yetis, and knives. Kent is the premier custom jeweler in mid-Missouri. We have a great staff, the technology, and equipment to create what you dream for, jewelry and engraving. Kent's Jewelry, 907 North Pine, downtown Rolla, 573-364-1030. That's 573-364-1030. Locally owned.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping, too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate. At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh, baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day.
Maybe it's for a kitchen you've always wanted. Maybe it's just to have a little extra room. Whatever the reason you're considering a new home loan, it's good to know that Town & Country Bank will guide you in the right direction. Our experienced local lenders are here to help you with a new home construction, remodeling projects, and fixed and adjustable rate home loans. You can even start the process online by clicking Online Mortgage Center at tcbanks.com. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got Chris Adamo on the phone. Let's play his song, and then we'll get to talking to him. Lifetime conservative, author of Rules for Defeating Radicals. He moved from Wyoming to Missouri just to be closer to me. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Chris Adamo. Well, hello, Chris. Where are you calling me from? Where are you calling me today from?
I'm calling you from my home here in St. Joseph at the other end of the state. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I'm kind of watching. My antenna are up because of all the insanity going on. And I don't know how long we got to talk this morning, but boy, I could talk for about an hour.
Well, we don't have an hour, but let's get started. The January 6th committee, no GOP picks.
Yep.
What's Nancy hiding? What's the cover-up about?
Well, obviously, if you, I'm sure you've watched a little bit of it. It's painful to watch because it's so scripted, it's so predictable. The grandstanding, the phony tears. They have pictures of the actual videos of what happened, and it wasn't any big deal. And the cops were in on it, letting people in the door.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any major thing going on except this insurgency of Antifa punks that were trying to turn it into destruction and mayhem. And yet we're hearing about this from these people as if this is the biggest threat the country's ever faced. I mean, they're shameless, they're embarrassing, but they get away with it because when they pull this kind of stuff, the typical response from our side is to start apologizing instead of saying, look, you guys are a bunch of phonies. The big crime going on January 6th was not some people trespassing in the Capitol. It was the election theft going on inside the Capitol, and we haven't forgotten that. We're not getting past that. We're going to fix that. But instead, our side says, "Oh, we're sorry. Yes, we abhor violence. We don't want to see things like this happen." And so at that point, no matter how ridiculous, shameless, and disgusting their grandstanding is, they start getting away with it.
And 574 riots just last summer in a bunch of cities run by Democrats, and no committee, no hearings,
exactly,
no nothing. People,
we've had invasions of state
left
capitals
out
before.
Yeah.
We've had the Supreme Court get invaded the same way, except these were legit. I mean, these were actual protesters doing it. We've had this kind of stuff happen lots of times, and they don't act like it's the end of the world. This is just a chance for Pelosi and her crowd to get up there and get in front of the microphones and act like they're the biggest victims in the world, so they can get on their moral high ground and they can put us on the defensive.
I want to play a couple clips for you, 5 and 6, and that's Mark Levin of his take on 1-6 and get your reaction. Hit it.
Okay.
Joe Biden likes to say that what happened on January 6th was the worst attack since 9/11. Liz Cheney agrees with him. I want to give a little bit of history to the historically illiterate. In 1979, Jimmy Carter released from prison 3 Puerto Rican terrorists who shot at members of Congress from the House gallery in 1954, wounding, in some cases seriously, 5 members of the House of Representatives. There's more. On the last day of his presidency, Bill Clinton granted a full pardon to Susan Rosenberg. Who was she? 16 years into a 58-year sentence for possession of guns and over 700 pounds of explosives, a member of the Weather Underground and numerous of its succeeding splinter groups, She allegedly participated in the 1983 bombing of the U.S. Capitol. That explosion blew off Senate Minority Leader Robert Byrd's door, ripped through a painting of Daniel Webster, and damaged the Senate cloakroom. A year after Bill Ayers, his girlfriend, and two of his friends blew themselves up in Greenwich Village townhouse turned bomb factory, he took part in the 1971 bombing of the U.S. Capitol. He wrote, "We already bombed the Capitol," he wrote in his memoir, "and we'd cased the White House. The Pentagon was like two of the trifecta." Now, who is Bill Ayers? I seem to recall he helped launch Barack Obama's career. So, first of all, let's stop lying about the history of what's gone on in this Capitol. There's been a lot of horrible things that's happened to the Capitol and the people in the Capitol. That's number one. Number two, this is nothing like 9/11. Joe Biden, even in his good day, when he had wits, was an idiot. And now we have Liz Cheney saying the same thing. There were no weapons fired in the Capitol, not by the protesters, by one police officer who apparently randomly killed a protester. We don't defend what happened in the Capitol building, unlike our opponents on the other side, but they do defend violence. How come we don't have any of the federal law enforcement from Portland there testifying when Nancy Pelosi called them stormtroopers, or when Jim Clyburn called them stormtroopers? Of course, Adam Kinzinger, who's in the pocket of Pelosi, he'll never bring it up. And Liz Cheney's in such a hate mode, she'll never bring it up either. There's a lot that can be brought up about this, as a matter of fact, and as you all pointed it out, what did Nancy Pelosi do? She was in charge of security of that building, and she was told about potential problems in that building. What did the FBI do? They had information from the NYPD and the Norfolk office. She doesn't want to know anything about that.
Okay, we're back with Chris. What's your reaction to that?
Well, boy, I could have written a bunch of notes on that. The one thing I wanted to jump on, first of all, of course, Levin, being Levin, he's absolutely right. Again, the sanctimony of these people is only eclipsed by their hypocrisy, because they have no shame. This will only take hold if our side lets it. If we laugh it off and if we dismiss it the way Levin is doing, it's going to ring hollow. Unfortunately, you get the rhinos in there like Kinzinger and Cheney, who are always right there to give credit to a thing like that. Yeah. But the one thing I want to talk about, he mentioned the fact that the FBI was not helpful in securing the Capitol. The FBI more and more is coming out. The FBI was the one stirring up the people that were going to invade the Capitol and trying to get them to be militant. And I've got a good friend who's in the Wyoming legislature.
Yeah.
And he said, it wasn't an insurrection because we're not still there. And what he's saying is absolutely right. If we wanted to go in, we had 500,000 people there. If we wanted to go in and wipe the place out, we had plenty of people to do it.
Yeah.
We don't operate that way.
Right. And the FBI testified after the fact in front of Congress, under threat of being jailed themselves, that there were no firearms found on any of the protesters that day. None.
Yeah.
So Ashley Babbitt was unarmed and murdered by, we think, a Capitol policeman tied to Nancy Pelosi's office.
Yeah, and I don't doubt that situation was one of the things that they said, we've got to make this happen. During the course of the event today, we've got to make this happen to make this a deadly invasion of the Capitol. And nothing like this is beyond these people. We think, well, gee, that sounds conspiratorial. They wouldn't do that. They're really not that evil. Think about what Governor Cuomo did to the elderly people in New York. And there's no explanation for his behavior when he forced them into these nursing homes where the COVID spread like mad amongst them and they died. No explanation other than it's an inherent tactic of the leftist agenda to maximize misery and suffering and death in order to advance your agenda.
And there's some kind of hypnosis going on because he thinks he's absolutely justified in the way he handled COVID. He just said it the other day. And nobody, well, he's still there. Let's put it that way. He's still there.
And that's how they do it. Again, I could give you example after example where somebody on our side said one wrong thing. George Allen, running for Senate or governor in Virginia, said macaca one time. It destroyed his political career. And yet these people, you look at Hillary, you look at Cuomo, you look at a lot of them, and when they do these things, their response is to come back with a totally shameless arrogance. What difference does it make? Or as you say in Cuomo's case, it's like, no, I did a great job. I did everything wonderfully. And they go on with that. And our side gets too embarrassed to confront them and say, no, you're a monster. And you're a criminal. You need to be brought up on charges. And so we start soft pedaling and they start grandstanding. And who's going to dominate at that point? And that's what we've got to learn.
Well, this brings up my next point. Now, you got involved in some of the debate. I like to call it debate, but it was really more like insult throwing. But a bunch of liberals attacked me on Twitter, and you got involved, and you went around round or two, and then you blocked them. Now, I did eventually block one of them, but I got some conversation. I got them interested enough to start talking about issues. Now, I told them, you want to talk to me decently, I'll talk to you decently. You want to insult me, you're insulting the wrong guy, because I've got about 30 or 40,000 insults I can use that I've written already, and they're original ones. You might actually like it, all right? But I'm not taking any crap off of you. And ones that kept giving me crap, I blocked, and only one of them. But the others are still free to talk to me. Now they've all of a sudden gone away. I don't know what happened, but they're not talking to me anymore. It's not like they blocked me or anything, I don't think. But
well,
they were getting interested.
What's going on. It's a Twitter phenomenon. What you're dealing with, if you look at the ones that I block, they typically have about 20 followers. Yeah. They're bots, or if they're not bots, they're part of like a little boiler room operation.
Right.
And their only purpose is to get on there and waste our time and dispirit us. Yeah. And again, they're not, they have like a canned litany of DNC talking points they're going to throw at you.
You know what?
And so,
you know what I was, you know what I started doing that led this kind of thing that makes you probably right. I started doing this. And I was so effective, I believe, not only in my answers, but also I started spreading it to people like yourself and other people that I know that are conservative. And that's when things started to fade. Because
absolutely.
It was just me
if you're
against
not
them.
Embarrassed,
and then,
if they're not going to make you ashamed of what you said.
Yeah.
Then and I do that a lot. Now I don't bother again with the ones with 20 followers. I don't bother because again they're just bots.
Right.
But the ones that you get these particularly these liberal professors and academic types, and they're going out there and they're going to embarrass you over the Neanderthal stance you took. And I take that and I show that to everybody else. I said, look what this lefty says, and look what this lefty considers to be moral high ground. And
exactly.
This is the basis on which they operate. And the minute you do that, they realize they're not embarrassing you; they're embarrassing themselves. And you're right. That's when they quit. That's right. How the Alinsky strategy works, and that's how we beat it.
Well, yeah, and but you got to hang in there long enough to beat them. Because now that reinforces when I start sending it to people like yourself and Elad Hakim and other people from OAN Network, they get. I think they fade out. They get. We turn it to what you want, which is they're on defense, I'm on offense.
Exactly.
And I'm here saying,
the minute you
bring
do that,
it.
Now the real ones will fade out at that point. The little tiny bots with their account with 12 followers, they'll just keep wasting your time, and that's why those are the ones you need to just block.
Sure. All right. So how do Republicans hold Nancy and the Dems and the Rhinos accountable, and especially how do we get a detailed situation where we find out exactly how Ashley Babbitt was murdered?
Well, for starters, we don't do what McConnell is doing. He's up there grandstanding that for the good of the country, he's reaching a bipartisan agreement on this infrastructure pork spending and so I won't go into that too much, but that's what we don't do. What we do is we go back and I'll use the election as an example. In the immediate aftermath of the election, it was obviously stolen. I use the word stolen because they stole it. That's what it was. They started embarrassing our side. Before long, our side is saying, well, we saw possible voting irregularities. We start soft pedaling it. Same thing with Ashley Babbitt. She was murdered in cold blood. She was not a threat to anybody's life. She was murdered in cold blood, and we don't call it anything else but that. And we find the name of the person who did it. We call him out as the murderer of Ashley Babbitt. We don't back away from that. The minute we back away from that, we start saying, well, maybe
his name is
or whatever.
Mike Leroy Bird. Byrd, and it's been released by Ashley Babbitt's family. Their lawyer revealed it. So the guy was, this guy has a problem with firearms because he has left his once a loaded gun in a bathroom and was caught and was punished for that. So this guy is tied to Nancy Pelosi's office, I believe, and could be have been very close to Nancy. So see, Nancy,
no surprise there.
Nancy Pelosi is a witness. She's playing the judge in this, and she's really a witness because she's the leader. She was responsible for security.
Right.
Okay, and she needs to be asked a lot of questions.
How many videos have you seen of the cops directing people into the Capitol?
Several.
On that day. We've seen enough. How many videos have we seen on Election Day of the doors being closed and the Republican election monitors being pushed out of the room, things like this? We have the evidence.
And the Georgia case where they said a main line broke. In the middle of the night, right? You got to get out. Main line, the water line broke. You got to get out. It's going to be a big flood. Never happened. And so what happened was, and then they start getting suitcases from under the tables that were hidden.
That's right.
And what was in them? Ballots. Ballots that they were putting in and out of these machines. That's evidence, is it not?
That's a great example. You know, you just mentioned the water line. It's a good example because I had forgotten about that because nobody talked about it. It happened. We know it happened. We know it was a lie. We know it was done, a scam to get people out of the room. We have the evidence. There was no water main break. We have that evidence, but we quit talking about it because the mainstream media says, oh, you're a bunch of conspiracy kooks. We got embarrassed. Yeah. We got intimidated, so we shut up.
Who talks about the Arizona audit? Except for this show and OAN. I'm sure there's some people out there doing it, but not many. Who's talking about the election? You don't hear, you're hearing crickets out there. I'm talking about the election. You're talking about the election. And I don't understand. See, I don't have a boss. That's the good thing. But I've done this when I worked for radio stations too. I'm working for myself. I don't care. I'm an old man. I'm too old to lie. Well, not really, but I mean, what do I got to lose? All right.
What do we have to gain by lying? Here's the thing. When we look at our agenda, we as conservatives, we go, you know what? If I have to lie to advance it, it's not a good agenda. The left doesn't think that way.
Yeah. No, they don't. So Biden's his lax greeting in Pennsylvania, unable to fill half the audience in a CNN town hall. His polls...
And it wasn't a big hall.
Yeah, his polls just plummeting. Now, they say it's 50%. I say you got to deduct another 15% because of what you know about who was polling. Okay?
Exactly.
I mean, who was doing the polling. Those are the people that said Hillary had a 100% chance of winning the election on Election Day. Okay? So it's about 35% and dropping.
You did see the big crowd that Biden did attract in Pennsylvania, didn't you?
I think I did, and there was hardly anybody.
No, I'm talking about on his way to that venue.
Oh, it was Trump. Wasn't it Trump supporters?
It was thousands. It was by the thousands. They lined up, and they were. I can't repeat some of the things that they were saying, but they were telling Biden, "No, you're not the president. We don't buy this.
This hometown, right?"
I mean, when you look at that size crowd that he did attract to tell him to get his fake presidency out of Washington, and then you look at the few people that showed up in the room to support him, don't tell me that he stormed Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's incredible, and it's happening, and it is what it is, and we're going to have to stop here shortly. So tell me, where can people find you other than DaveWeinbaum.net?
Well, they can find me on GOPUSA.com. They can find me at the NOQ Report, the Thinking Conservative, and yes, by all means, on your site. And also, if I can give one more plug for my book,
ahead,
because I'll tell you what, it's needed now more than ever. It's called Rules for Defeating Radicals. If everybody is sick, everybody in your audience right now that's sick and angry watching the dirty tricks the leftists are pulling on us, and you want the guidebook, the field manual on how to confront this stuff so we don't fall into their traps and we can fight the battle on our terms to win, then you go to Amazon and get my book, Rules for Defeating Radicals by Chris Adamo, Countering the Alinsky Strategy in Politics and Culture.
Get it. I got it. I read it. It's a great book. And I got one more thing for you. You know, I quit my job making preserves.
Were you in a jam?
Oh, God. I'm beginning to hate you.
Oh.
I kept getting jammed up.
Oh,
jeez. It was too darn jarring. That's what it was. It was jarring. Okay, thank you, my friend. You have a great weekend.
Dave. Good talking to you.
Don't make me come
Hi,
out
Lisa.
there. Forget about it. How's that? You feel better now? Forget about it.
It was my joke.
That was Lisa's joke.
It was my joke, yeah.
Uh-oh. Lisa, don't let him do that
Yes.
to you.
No, see what you did? You interrupted my wife. So, you know, now I'm going to get the whip because oh, ouch. Ow, that hurt. All right, Chris, you have a great weekend. Thanks, pal. Appreciate
You both
it.
take care. Good talking to you.
All
Bye-bye.
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 Okay. That was pretty good, I thought. Pretty lively.
And we got a lot of comments here, people reacting.
Yeah,
too,
let's see what we got here. Pamela, when will CDC recommend closing the southern border? I have the answer. When Trump gets back into office. Okay. Betsy Beck, good morning. Always a pleasure to spend my Friday mornings listening to your show when I'm able to get reception. Coming in loud and clear today. I think she's from, Illinois somewhere, isn't she?
I don't know. Maybe she can comment and let us know where she's listening from.
Let us know where you are. JJ, love this show. One of the few places where alternate opinions are not suppressed. Well, that's true. I like that. Except for cussing. We're not going to accept any cussing.
Make sure, because of quick disclaimer here after what happened at the end of last week's show, do not cuss on the air because then I have to cut the phone call.
Yep.
Just don't do it. Most of our callers don't. But
I want to hear from the liberals. I don't want to. I'm serious about that. I'd like to convince people if I can. And Pam, even our elected officials are being shut down. A press briefing held by a handful of congressional Republicans to clarify the status of January 6 prisoners and related investigations outside the U.S. Department of Justice was interrupted Tuesday by protesters and concluded with its participating speakers being led away. This is Marjorie Greene says, I will not back down. They actually said to Marjorie Greene, I saw a clip of this earlier, that she was trespassing. And she was with Judge Louis Gohmert, another representative. They oversee the federal prisons, okay? And they're trespassing? That should get for a neat hearing.
Yeah.
Pamela Tanner, Michael Byrd does not fit their narrative. Black Capitol police officer shoots unarmed white female Air Force veteran who was a threat to no one. Yeah, of course. Well, that's why I keep pushing it. We have the name. Apparently, there's a picture of this guy holding a gun. There's a film of this, I think, somewhere. But there's evidence, all right? Pamela Tanner again. Biden seems to have met.
To meet. I think it was supposed to be meet.
Seems to
Or be met. Be met.
be met with Trump supporters everywhere he goes. Oh, he needs to be, and he ought to be. Yeah, I agree with that. Who else? Pam, when do we get to hold the mainstream media accountable for their misinformation? I believe there should be some criminal activity there because they helped in throwing the election, especially the social media.
Well, this lawsuit by President Trump against big tech might help to do that.
Yeah. Hey, Tanner again, Pamela, Rules for Defeating Radicals by Christopher Adamo needs to be taught in every public school. I would agree. And today from St. Louis, usually from the Newburgh area, Betsy Beck. Why did I think she was from Illinois? I think we had one from Illinois once. And
we could have. We've had other people named Betsy comment before, but it's been a little while.
Thanks, Betsy. Appreciate you getting back to me on that. Okay, so we're back here on the show. You can call. I got another interview starting at 9:15. That's Joe Alexander. But the phone lines are open. I got lots of stuff this morning to talk about. Oh, my goodness. Well, let's start with LeBron James. Start with Hollywood stuff. He's got a movie coming out, like the Michael Jordan movie was Space something or other.
Space Jam.
Space Jam, yeah, thanks. That's a sports guy, right? It's good, handy having a sports guy. By the way, you have a show, don't you?
Yeah, every Monday from 5 to 6. You can listen locally on ESPN 107.3 or stream it online, ESPN
107.
Yeah, well, 107.3, yeah.
There you go.
Every Monday from 5 to 6, so.
You can't forget the call letters, can you?
Nope,
I've
got to
done
have
that
those.
once or twice myself. Rick, you got...
those are kind of important.
You got something you want to talk about real quick, too?
Yes. We have an alternative news source called MidwestNews.us. So you'll find information there about vaccines and Trump coming back, Nassar, Gassara, a lot of alternative sources there. You might like that, too, JJ. So just wanted to remind you of that.
So talking about this movie again with the King James, LeBron James.
I think he gave himself that title, but,
Yeah, well,
digress.
whatever. All right, now the guy that loves China, and hates Americans talking about China and the Uyghurs and the slaves that make uniforms and shoes for who? The NBA. Oh, you can't talk about them. You just don't understand. You're not smart enough, America. Or threatening cops that save other people by having to kill the aggressor and actually putting it online. This guy needs to be killed, okay? With all of his millions and millions of fans, you think maybe one or two of them might go after this cop, all right? So this probably close to being a billionaire, he makes this film, a takeoff of Michael's Jordan Space Jam, is it? Yep. Yeah.
It's technically supposed to be a sequel to it, but...
And it flops huge. And guess who would not put it on? Guess who would not put it on? China.
Uh-oh.
China. What happened to my phone?
I think Chris was still on the line and just listening, so...
Oh, he was listening? Yep. He was waiting for me to talk about him. Well, I'm not going to talk about you now, Chris. I was going to until the phone hang up, but, All right. Yeah, that's funny because once I had after the show, I said a few things to Lisa at the elevator, and I get this nasty call back from somebody, and it was like a guy I just had on the air, and he says, "You didn't like my." The
guy that called in late last week, he called you back after.
No. That was
gotcha.
This was a long time ago. This was a good guy, and the last week was a bad guy. Give me a break.
Yeah.
I mean in a way, that's kind of it's kind of an honor for guys to call me and tell me how bad I am.
Yeah, because it's ironic
how
bad the show is, but he's still listening.
He's listening
and calling in too.
He's listening now, I'm sure, even though he blocked took us. So I don't
never know.
Yeah, he might. Who knows? He'll get another phone number. Occasionally you get this kind of problem, and I don't have a call-in situation to where I have some kind of a 7-second delay or whatever. So this is a raw show. You're getting what you see and what you hear. You don't see much, obviously. Yeah, we ought to get cameras in here because my beautiful wife, you guys are slugs. Me and my beautiful wife, though? Come on. Hello. Hello. As my bird says. My bird greets me in the morning. You know how he greets me? He says, hello. And I'll be sitting there in the living room, and my wife likes to yell at the black dog, Ralphie, a lot because he does misbehave on occasion. But the bird, she'll say to Ralphie, bad dog. And all of a sudden I'll be listening, and I hear from, I don't know where it's coming from. Ralphie, bad dog. It's the bird. The bird has copied Lisa. I'm looking at Ralphie.
The bird's been trained.
Ralphie's looking at me.
That's how often your dog is bad.
Okay, yeah, blame the dog. And you have now infected the mind of my little innocent parrot.
Oh, my goodness.
My goodness.
It's so sad.
But the bird is so cute, though.
It's so sad.
Every once in a while, I have, when I take Ralphie out, I have the bird, because we have to walk by his cage for me to get him to go out. And I says, Malcolm, I need your help. Come on. Here comes Ralphie. He says, he'll go, here, boy. And then I'll whistle. Here, boy. Seriously. And I say, now say hi to Ralphie. It's just so cute. Okay. Anyways, I love animals. Who hates animals? Especially the ones you can actually kind of communicate to. Anyways.
There's studies out now showing that they can prove that dogs understand certain phrases and words that we use and all that. And
there are
gets them excited
studies
and all
out
that.
that say that dogs have an incredible feel for human beings based on their history. Unlike wolves, they have a sense that's inbred in them that tells them how to act around humans to get what they want, basically. I think that's really neat because you wonder, why aren't wolves the same way, which dogs came from? Yep. And they're not. They don't have the same identification with humans as do dogs, and it's genetic now. They were just made.
Nope, dogs were created to be household pets, so they have that.
I don't think they were created as much as they were taken from probably some wolf tribes that were had a few of them in there that were a little bit friendlier, sort of like the movie Dances with Wolves, when he had that wolf kind of was reacting to him.
Now, that is a classic movie reference there.
Thank you. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
and the wolf would eventually come out and eat from his hand. Very unlikely. Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Chester from north of Doolittle.
Well, hello, Chester. How are you?
About dogs and wolves.
Yes, please.
Dogs are derived from wolves. They were selected by the humans, and they became dogs. The reason wolves are not as friendly with humans is because humans have this neat tendency of killing wolves.
Okay,
it's hard to pick up human traits and interactions when all they're trying to do is kill you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I don't know if you were there the first time because, you see, now I got to call JJ back. He was there, almost there when wolves became dogs all of a sudden. Well, it didn't just happen overnight. They probably, and I think
wolves
probably.
Were around.
See, you don't know this.
Some of them were selected by the humans, and they became.
Why would some of them be selected by the humans, though? Wouldn't these be the ones that were a little bit more friendly than others?
Probably. Obviously, we don't know. Probably some children or somebody, picked up some little puppies and said, "Oh, these are so cute." And there's also the probability of a relationship. There's several good books you can read on the subject, actually, but it's believed that what happens is that humans wandering around the wilderness trying to hunt down whatever, caribou or something, were having a hard time. The wolves had a hard time for different reasons. See, the wolves can track the animal and bring it down, but it's a big fight. Humans could not track it down, but once they got close, they can spear it, beat it with clubs, whatever, so they can kill it fairly easily. At some point, the two might have started working together.
All right, listen, I got to get going. Thanks for calling. In 1 minute, I've got a call coming in. okay, for an interview. Thank you so much for that really, really amazing information. Wow.
Hey,
yeah.
you'd never hear it anywhere else, and everybody would just have wrong info from you.
Who the hell has this kind of stuff on their show?
Bye-bye.
That's what I want to know. Thank you. All right. Do we got Joe on?
No.
You sure?
No, that's Adolf, but...
Oh, okay. Well, just let me answer him. Adolf, you're calling at a bad time. Can you call me back later? I've got an interview coming on in about 30 seconds.
Go for it.
Okay, man, I'll go for
it.
Okay. All right, see you later. Bye. Won't see you later. I'll be talking to you later anyways. So, all right. So, very shortly we're going to have Joe, and that's not him yet. Oh, okay. I actually sent him a reminder, this morning, and he said, "Oh yeah, 9:15."
I'm sure he'll be on here and just.
And he's a Central Time kind of guy, so there should be no mess up in the. Although he did spend a lot of time all over the country with Trump and his family. All right, how cool is that?
Guy was on the go a lot. What can I say?
Sure was, yeah. So he should.
And
be
did a great job getting all those rallies going too.
Oh yeah, I'm just wondering where he'd be. A lot of people didn't last but a year or so with Trump, right? Maybe a couple of years at the most. And here he is. Okay, I'm pretty sure I know who this is, but let's play his song just in case. Ladies and gentlemen, University of Illinois Big Ten athlete, spent 6 years running Trump rallies, and he's rumored to be Trump's vice presidential pick. Please welcome, all the way from somewhere in Illinois, Joe Alexander. Okay, confirm or deny, will you be Donald Trump's vice presidential pick?
I think if it gets to me, there's a lot of people that have turned it down.
So, you would readily jump to the task, though, wouldn't you?
I would be happy to serve in any capacity.
So, if he asked you to be vice president, you would say yes, Mr. President, right?
Of course.
All right, okay. And I think you'd make a good one. You know why?
Why is that?
Because you were a marathon runner kind of guy. I mean, not maybe marathons, but long runners. You have endurance. I think that's what you need to work for Trump. Is you need endurance, don't you?
I would agree. It's he's a vigorous guy, no question about it.
And he runs his staff all over the place all the time because he doesn't sleep very much, does he?
Hey, that is all true. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you ever witness him sleeping on the plane?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that's interesting. All right. Anyways, so Biden and Kamala said they would ignore the vaccine because Trump made it. And now they want to fine us if we don't take it. Do you find that a little hypocritical?
Well, I think that's what the confusion is now. I think most Americans would like to help others and do good things to help one another. But I think their messaging between Biden and Harris has just really been all over the place and not very consistent.
Yeah. It just, the polls are falling tremendously. The Arizona audit is complete. I get the feeling that there was just a bit out about another warning from A.G. Garland with Biden standing behind him about states and their audits not breaking federal law. The even Twitter seemed like, the liberals have stayed away from me, and Twitter's letting me actually add people to my thing, and they're closing down 2 offices. I mean, it just seems like the vibes are changing in the favor of Trump supporters. What do you think?
I mean, I would agree with that. Again, let's talk about gas prices. We have seen significant increases in gas. We've talked about this in previous interviews, but we're seeing inflation really setting in. There are problems in supply chains, and there's really not a very coherent strategy out of the Biden administration currently.
Yeah, and now you have this the 1-6 hearing, which is a fixed hearing, with your buddy Adam Kissinger. He didn't have a big enough Kleenex box next to him because he was crying.
Right.
And my gosh, I met him, didn't I? I don't think you were there, but I think Rodney Davis, Congressman Rodney Davis, and him were attending a ball game about 6 or 7 years ago, and talked to him for a while. It seemed like he was normal then. What happened to him?
I think Adam has really changed. I'm not really sure what's occurred to him. I have known him for a long time, but unfortunately, I just really don't recognize kind of what he is today.
Well, I think he got some kind of an offer, and he's accepted it, and it involves personal gain, because it's hard for me to believe that he would change that radically. So, anyway, what do you think of this hearing that's going on right now with your buddies Jim Jordan and what's the other guy's name? I forget his name. Who were, strong Republicans who were suggested by Kevin McCarthy.
Right. You mean regarding January the 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we really need to dig into those issues. This has unfortunately become very political.
Yeah.
I think there's some, very basic questions like, the Speaker of the House, in this case Nancy Pelosi, is a very powerful person.
Uh-huh.
It is my understanding that the National Guard was offered to her to quelch or put down any, just provide better security.
Right.
And she turned it down. Well, I don't know why did she turn it down?
Yeah.
I don't think people should have stormed the Capitol. People that stormed the Capitol or entered or something like that are being federally prosecuted. I would not want to be in their shoes. But at the same time, too, there was clearly lapses in the Capitol Police. They weren't as adequately staffed as I think they should have been. And, really the irony is the Democratic Party does a really good job of demonizing the police, but then they go around and flip here and, the police can do no wrong, or the police can didn't, not really articulating the point that they didn't have enough support and backup that day.
Yeah. So you would be one of those that would say that Nancy Pelosi was ultimately in charge of security at the Capitol.
Correct, because now she's going to the point, in case you missed the story, Dave, she's mandating masks, even if you've had the vaccine, inside the U.S. Capitol, and which again is another form of contradiction. If some would say the vaccine's perfect and it's safe, then you can't pass it. Now they're coming back and saying, well, even if you've had the vaccine, you need to wear masks. So lots of contradictions.
And they said they're going to get us the science later. Okay.
Correct.
Like our lying eyes or our lying ears don't know about people who have been fully vaccinated that go in and get tested positive.
Right.
Okay, like that's not happening. Well, let me go back to the 1-6 and the invasion. Yeah, I'm sure there were some bad actors in the Trump supporters, but what about the FBI? The FBI was there apparently with undercover agents, and then there was Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and there's videos of Trump supporters screaming at the cops outside, saying, "You're not doing anything. What's wrong with you guys? Where are your backups?" And they were just standing there,
Right.
So, without a real investigation, it's just a political act of trying to bury Donald Trump once again, isn't it?
I agree, and it's really there's no conversations again about the very substantive issues that our country faces, like inflation. What is going on?
Yeah. Nobody talks about it, right?
Right. So we've got all these, don't look at the issue over here, look over there. Let's talk about the past, and let's not try to move forward on some really big challenges I think our country has.
Now, a couple of congressmen and women went to the D.C. jail. I think it was a federal prison. And they wanted to visit some of the people who were arrested.
Yes.
How many are still there? Like 400 have been arrested or something?
Something to that effect, I believe, yeah.
And I'm going to be talking to Jeff Zink later on, who is a candidate for senator in Arizona, who was at 1-6 and his son was arrested. He's going to be talking about that and what happened that day and what happened since. Now, he's not in jail. He got out of jail, but the charges are still there. So he's going to be talking about what happened there. But there were these detainees are still there. Most of them charged with just trespassing. And it seems like these congressmen, by the way, who have oversight over the federal prisons, were not let in to see these people who were in jail, and they were accused of trespassing by the guard there in the federal courts, of which they oversee.
Correct. And it's my understanding that those members of Congress were looking into some very basic questions.
Yeah.
Wasn't getting any of the answers that they sought, so they physically walked over there and then kind of were denied entrance into the facility.
It's amazing. All right, so the Arizona audit is complete. There's others coming, and so what do you think Trump's next move is?
Well, I think I believe there were some irregularities without question with this past election. I think it is completely appropriate for people to look into audits like have occurred into Arizona. I think there was some funny business in lots of states. And so it's good to have the truth known out there. And it's interesting that if this election was fair and square, why would people be opposed to showing the proof that this was a fair and square election?
Exactly.
But I think we all know the answer to that.
I think the Arizona guys, it took a lot of guts to do this. And this is a forensic audit, not just a recount of what has already been wrong. This is forensic, and it's a lot bigger scale, looking into a lot of different things. And I think they found a lot of stuff. I'm going to be talking to Jeff Zink in about an hour or so, and we're going to talk about what's going on because the liaison between the Senate and the audit, Ken Bennett, has now been he's been put on the sideline. He can't even go into the audit. I wonder what that's all about too. Anyways,
exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, as an athlete, how are you feeling about these Olympics?
Okay, so I'm going to date myself here a little bit. I'm 46 years old. There was a time in my life where I aspired to once compete in the Olympics. I didn't quite get that far up the athletic food chain. Now, I had teammates at the University of Illinois did, and they told me about the amazing experience it was to represent their home country. I remember 1984. Ronald Reagan was president. The Olympics were held in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And there was such, McDonald's did a phenomenal job actually by promoting that. Do you remember that, Dave?
Oh, yeah, sure do.
And there was just kind of again, the Olympics were here in the States. So we kind of had a localized view, if you will, of it. But I just don't sense that same excitement level. And I know a young man, again, competed at the University of Illinois, a gentleman by the name of David Kinzaria, who's from Illinois, University of Illinois graduate, competing in the 400-meter hurdles, track and field. But largely, I don't sense that national zeal and excitement over the Olympics, quite frankly. And I think it kind of points back to how some of these athletes and, quite frankly, the media want to talk about how woke they all are. It's just not what it once was in 1984.
Do you have any comments on the gymnast? I think her last name was Bile.
I do.
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know much about her particular story. She sought to try to compete in the Olympics, and then for whatever reason she chose not to. I don't know that whole story very well, so I can't speak to great depth. But it would, again, just going back to people friends of mine that have competed in the Olympics, it's an honor and a privilege to do it. I can't imagine, especially if you're an American, the honor to represent your country, and then I literally had dreams of this. I didn't get there, but to maybe make the medal stand in the Olympics, and then have the American flag, in your hand or holding it wrapped around you would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I had those same dreams about being a center on the Boston Celtics.
There you go. Did you meet the height?
I don't understand how I didn't make that. It's incredible. I guess they weren't looking for 5'4" centers at the time. So, anyways, so let's go on to another athlete, LeBron James, King James. His movie is tanking. Huge losses, estimated over $100 million. And this is a guy that stood for China and not the United States, and told others that were criticizing China, you know what, you don't know what you're talking about, just shut up. And guess who didn't run his movie in China? China! They didn't run the movie. The CCP canceled him. Okay, so do you feel sorry for LeBron?
I don't feel sorry for LeBron at all. Unfortunately, the NBA seems to be the most awoke professional of the three major sports between football, baseball, and basketball, and I just don't follow it. I just, I don't, and especially the antics of LeBron James. Not a fan, and I don't think I'm alone. I think their ratings really tanked. And it's not what it once was. Again, I'm dating myself, but I think back of like some of the Michael Jordan era Chicago Bulls, or even the Celtics with Larry Bird versus the LA Lakers and Magic Johnson. I mean, those were just some epic, classic, memorable events, and I just can't get into LeBron in today's NBA.
See, I still like the basketball. I can't help but watch it, and I thought the actual finals of the NBA this year were pretty exciting. The Greek kid on Milwaukee, what an amazing performance he put in. But I don't like their politics at all. In fact, I got rid of all my Cardinal tickets.
I literally didn't watch any of the NBA finals.
I got rid of all my Cardinal tickets because of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
I told him, I says, how am I supposed to go down there and stay at a hotel where 1 block away from me lives the McCluskeys, who can't get a cop to come out after 150 people are on their lawn threatening to burn his house down.
Yeah,
and then he gets arrested because he brought out an AR-15 or something like that. He gets arrested.
Exactly.
So I told the Cardinals, I says, no way am I going to do that. And had these
tickets. Did they reply
and
to
give them
you,
away.
or did they say something in response?
No, I asked to speak to the owner. I says, I got a radio show. I would love to have you on the show and explain it to me.
Sure.
So crickets there, but the gal there was trying to say, well, I don't think you really understand Black Lives Matter. And I says, I don't think you understand what I do on Fridays, which is I investigate this. I look at it almost 24/7. I know exactly who Black Lives Matter are, and I would suspect that you don't. And
good point.
So, there it is. Anyways, where can people find you?
I can. I've got. I need to. I said this the last several times I've been on here. I need to link some of my websites on with you guys, and so I will do that with your lovely wife Lisa here, hopefully soon. And it's always good to be with you, Dave.
You may actually say hello to Lisa because she's sitting right there.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Joe. Yeah, send me a photo. Send me some contact information that you want shared, and I'll get a post.
And now we know how old he is.
Exactly. I've dated myself. I've given it away.
46. Hey, did you hear about the Fruit Festival's new rock band?
I did not.
Yeah, they were the Grateful Dead. The Grateful Dead. Okay, and you did not do this joke. Okay, say hi to Marty and Rodney, who almost got on the committee. Rodney almost got on the committee. How did that happen? Nancy Pelosi wanted Rodney. Okay.
Very interesting times.
Yeah, you got it. All right, thank you, my friend. Good luck in that
Thanks,
vice presidential run for Trump. All right?
Okay, appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. All right, that was Joe Alexander, all the way from Southern Illinois, I think.
Yep.
All right, time for a commercial. And I want you guys to go out and buy stuff from all my all my advertisers, all my sponsors, all right? I appreciate that. Thanks. Hit it.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Kent's Jewelry does custom engravings for almost anything. Awards, signs, guns, swords, mugs, yetis, and knives. Kent is the premier custom jeweler in mid-Missouri. We have a great staff, the technology, and equipment to create what you dream for, jewelry and engraving. Kent's Jewelry, 907 North Pine, downtown Rolla, 573-364-1030. That's 573-364-1030. Locally owned.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate. Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
All right, almost caught me standing up. There I was, getting the blood back into my legs, and I'm ready to go. We've got, let's see, almost an hour and a half, and we've got the phones open right now. Call Adolph back, please, if you can. And if you want to call the show, 573-578-2700. Get it off your chest. Okay, so, or you can leave a message for me, apparently, on the website and on Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. So, Biden's private email as vice president under Obama was a private one and not it wasn't a government one, and he did bad things on it. Hi there, welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. Gee, what's your name and where did I call you from? I called you from my office. Don't confuse me.
Good morning. How's it going?
Stop confusing me. It's going very well, I think. And what can I do for you, sir?
It's going pretty well.
What can I do
got up
for you?
this morning, so that was a good start.
Yeah, it's a hell of a start right there.
Yeah, that's a heck of a good start.
Yeah.
Joanne was thinking of putting me in jail, but
really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah. I was having my cereal this morning, and a piece fell on the floor, and accidentally stepped on it. So she called me a serial killer.
I thought you ate it. Did you eat it afterwards or what?
What do you think of the Capitol Police?
What do I think of them?
Yeah.
I didn't really watch it. I know this guy, the big black fellow is, all of them were in tears and stuff like that. And, I just don't know enough about him. I know the one that killed Ashley Babbitt, obviously he wasn't up there. Why not? That's a guy I'd really like to see. I don't know. What did you think of him?
I'll tell you exactly what they are. They're a showcase police.
Okay.
That's all they are.
Yeah.
They have no authority outside federal property in the D.C. district.
Yeah.
Period. That silly nonsense story about, they're going to put them in Florida and other places. They have no jurisdiction there. None.
So the ones that the ones that you want to know about, the only one that really you want to question there would be Nancy Pelosi, and then maybe the guy that killed Ashley Babbitt, murdered Ashley Babbitt.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah. Well, without a doubt.
So
the other question is, how did they get in? Those doors are all magnetically sealed. You got to open them from the inside, or you got to have the magnetic lock opened.
Yeah. Well, we know that there's videos of cops letting them in, of cops moving the barriers and letting them in, opening the doors for them. One of them, a black cop, had a MAGA hat on.
Yeah,
and then when he went into the door after letting a bunch of men, he took his MAGA hat off when he went in. So and you got pictures of them like walking down, giving a tour to people, and they're little old people, and they're taking pictures, and the cops telling them about this and that. I've had that tour. I know what it's like, and I had it with Congressman Rodney Davis. Gave us a tour of the whole thing.
Yeah. The Capitol Police is nothing but a showcase. I don't even think they investigate anything, because if anything happens on federal property, it's at the FBI handles it.
I hear they're paid very well. They got a lot of cops in D.C., a lot of different federal and local cops, and yet they didn't have hardly any cops there.
No.
Okay? How does that happen? And who's in charge of security? And why isn't she testifying? She should be testifying right now in front of a congressional committee, in my opinion. So, all right, what else you got for me, Adolf?
I ain't got much. I got up this morning, and I'm great. Joanna ain't feeling too good. But
what's the matter with her?
She fell down the other day, and one of her flip flops caught on the cement.
Oh my God!
And tipped her over, and she scraped her knee and bent her wrist up, and I think she even whacked her noodle on the cement. But
wow,
that didn't hurt.
You mentioned doctors and stuff. So doctors have been ordered not to prescribe antidepressants to whites. Do you know why?
What is that?
They say the science says whites are supposed to suffer.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is. Anyways, thank you so much for being on the Dave Weinbaum Show, Adolf. I hope Joanne feels better. And
she's doing better.
Lisa, you want to say hello to
Adolf
and Joanne?
Hope you guys feeling better soon.
Yeah.
That falling is no fun.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, okay, hurry up.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Joanne. I heard you're not doing so well.
Well, it's better today than yesterday, so every day it'll get a little better.
All right.
Good.
You take care of yourself, darling, okay?
Okay.
All right. Make Adolf take care of you.
Give our regards to Lisa, okay?
Yeah, she's right here.
I'm here. I'm glad you're feeling better.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks, Tony.
Bye, Joanne. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Okay. We've got 10 o'clock coming up. We've got the crazy, fiery Latina. What's her name this week? Let's see. Elizabeth Farinas. Okay. Should I say that?
It might be different next time, but for now, that's what.
You never know. She's wild and she's crazy. What can I tell you?
She's been under this name for a little while, so maybe it's working.
Okay. All right. Let's do Sicilian real quick, And let's do, and maybe we'll do a Seinfeld mail too. I come from a neighborhood so tough, we had drive-by cheerleaders. Forget about it. You know, I think they got the same drive-by cheerleaders now that we had back when I was a kid. Look at Chicago. It's terrible. Terrible. You know, I mean, it was never this bad in Chicago. It was bad, but it wasn't this bad. And I'm not going to forget about it. It's wrong. It shouldn't happen. Somebody's got to do something. That Mayor Lightfoot, forget about her, okay? And now we've got Seinfeld. Why don't we do that?
The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli. I got about 50 feet out, and suddenly, the great beast appeared before me. I tell you, he was 10 stories high if he was a foot. As if sensing my presence, he let out a great bellow. A huge tidal wave lifted me, tossed me like a cork, and I found myself right on top of him, face to face with the blowhole. I could barely see from the waves crashing down upon me, but I knew something was there. So I reached my hand in, felt around, and pulled out the obstruction. What is that, a Titleist? A hole in one.
Yeah, that was one of the best bits. In fact, they say it was one of the best bits they've ever done. And earlier it showed Kramer hitting golf balls off the beach. All right, he was hitting golf balls, so he was hitting Titleist, so he knew it was his ball, and it landed in a whale's blowhole. I mean, well, that's great comedy right there. And then George had pretended. This is how you weave things together like that. George had pretended to be a marine biologist just to get women. Like at times he would pose as an architect, and it backfired here. Of course, they always showed it backfiring on him because he's walking on the beach with the gal he's interested in, who he's told is a marine biologist, and there's this big crowd, and they're looking at this whale. And someone says, "We need help. Is there a marine biologist here?" And George doesn't say anything, right? And then his woman says, "George, you got to do this. You got to do this. George, save the whale for me." I mean, that's funny stuff. I don't care who you are, all right? And we try to do some funny stuff on this show. Now, if you want to call the show, 573-578-2700. I'd like to see any more comments down there. I think there are some, but you've got me blocked off there. So, let's see. Pam Tanner, Midwest News, US.us, MidwestNews.us. Great source for the latest news and current events. And Amy, our friend from the Pregnancy Resource Center, I was just thinking we ought to do a commercial for the Pregnancy Resource Center. What do you think, honey?
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
I think we should do that.
Sure.
This is from Amy Howdy Shell, and she says, "Good morning, Dave and Lisa." Good morning, Amy, and she just had a birthday here recently, 29 or so. Of course, she's got 7 kids, so that's kind of a short period of time to have 7 kids. Anyways, what do you got? What else you got?
That's the last one there. Yep.
Okay, so if you want to leave a message, leave a message. If not, call. If not, just listen. How's that? So Dallas Justice. This is an organization somewhere in the South. Now, I figured that out. Dallas is in the South. How about that? And it's saying that whites must sign off on no Ivy League schools for their children. Okay? In other words, you shouldn't be privileged enough to go to Harvard. and we need to send other than whites there. Pure discrimination. But, and right now I think there's like more blacks percentage-wise there in Harvard than there are whites, like 43% to 37%, 43% Asians, 41% white. Oh, here it is. 43% Asians, 41% white, and 37% black. Sounds like a pretty good representation, doesn't it? Anyways, so you want to start doing the race thing. And I know at one time there was a quota on Jews getting into certain schools, Ivy League schools, like 5%, and that was it. Guess who's number one in the world in math? Not meth, math. Although they're probably number one in meth too. China, they're number one in the world in math. Guess where the USA ranks? 37. But we need to teach critical race theory there, right? That's how we get smart. We teach critical race theory, not math. We just forget about the math, forget about the reading, forget about the writing, and understand that many blacks come from a single-parent home, probably set up by a male who has relationships and children all over the place, who the government subsidizes. And that does not make for good studying habits. Now, people make it out of there. They make it out, and they make it out okay, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them without the father in the house, with them being little money makers just by existing, is not a good way, and it's proven not to be a good way to give blacks the God-given right to the American dream, like we've got, okay? I mean, there are white families, too, that have this problem. White families that have single moms and are struggling out there, too. But it's predominant in black communities, brown communities. So that's my little thing about that. Or am I wrong? Anybody think I'm wrong? Seriously. Yes.
I'll say something about the Chinese math. If they're so good at math, how come the Three Gorges Dam is about ready to break and it hasn't controlled flooding at all the past few weeks?
That's a good question. Why can't they do anything about that? I mean, you would think they would have planned that. Somebody in the Communist Party is going to blame some engineer, and they're going to string them up.
Yes.
Because it can't be their fault, can it?
No way.
No. It's like
not under communism. Nope. You can't do that.
No, I just watched it. They don't want any more investigations into where the pandemic came from. And that's another thing. Why are we so all over fighting each other here, which is exactly what some country wants us to do? Who is responsible for the pandemic? Why are we beating each other up? Why don't we make those SOBs in the CCP come up with a real fix to this? I mean, they have the code. They have the virus. Why don't they figure out a real vaccine? Or, I don't know what else,
This is a worldwide event, too. It's not just in America.
Right.
It's every country in the world. They were all protesting, a lot of them last week.
And they're getting away with it, and they're cocky about it, and I'm sure they helped Biden in the elections.
Comes down to two words: money and control.
All right, well.
And
we need to refocus who we're mad at. We're mad at each other.
Yeah.
Okay?
Conquer and divide. That's what they're trying,
Conquer and divide, and that's exactly what Biden is doing. The vaccinated against the unvaccinated. Against the vaccinated who are in hospitals right now with COVID. With a mask on. Okay, with a mask, without a mask, with a mask, without a mask. They've gone back and forth, back and forth. There is no science in this. There is political bickering. And I'm not going to subject my body or my children's bodies or my grandchildren's bodies two non-scientific medicines. All right? Both of us have survived it. Both of Lisa and I have survived it, getting it this last winter. Now we're supposed to be immune, and yet they still want us to be vaccinated? That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay?
And we actually have... I want to come back to this Capitol riot situation because we've got clips here from Hannity Show. This is Don Bongino and Geraldo going at it about the facts
Why
of
don't we do
this.
that? Yeah,
And
that's good.
it's just very interesting to listen to here.
Hit it.
Geraldo's wrong on both fronts, profoundly wrong. How the president, I have his transcript of what he said, we're going to go march to the Capitol peacefully and patriotically is inciting a riot, is quite confusing. I don't know if you need a thesaurus, a dictionary. I don't know why you're just making that up. I mean, I don't understand. Like, the narrative goes back and forth between this was a planned insurrection to then Trump incited an insurrection, despite the fact that Trump said go march peacefully and patriotically. Again, I don't know why you're making that up. And I go, I was a friend to President Trump. Well, with friends like you, who needs enemies? I mean, that's being a friend. And then secondly, this comment you made about, listen, this is about January 6th. Listen, I have been, like Sean and everyone else, let me say again, for the record, any violence against law enforcement, I absolutely in unequivocal terms condemn. Everybody got that? Crystal clear. I was a cop. The Democrats don't seem remotely interested in the insurrection that happened in the White House during the BLM riots when my Secret Service friends were texting me saying, you have no idea how bad it's getting here. I don't disagree with that. Geraldo, can you let me just finish my point, please? I don't disagree with it. Can you just let me finish my point? No, but I'm just suggesting to you that these things matter too, and Sean's point is not to diminish the violence on the 6th. His point is to say, if we're going to discuss political violence as a problem in this country, as a principled issue, then let's discuss it all, not just the ones you think benefit you politically. How does telling people to march peacefully and patriotically, how is that inciting a riot? You understand that makes no sense at all.
Well,
I don't know where you're getting that.
I believe in the bottom of my heart that the depths of my sincerity that the president knew what was going to happen. I believe the president
So you're saying those? Wait a minute, Geraldo, this is important. Wait.
President
You're saying the president. You're saying the president saying peacefully and patriotically, so your voices will be heard. You're just going to ignore that?
Yeah, and that was ignored very handily during the first, I'm losing track, the second impeachment trial after Trump was out of office. Yep. They impeached him again, and they're going to do it again, probably. And I think, great, let's do it. Let's have a party.
And yet, they can't find anything to actually be able to remove him from office.
Well, he's not
I find
in
that
office.
very interesting. Well, even whenever they impeached him when he was in office the first time, they didn't have enough stuff to be able to remove him.
Yeah, and that was under Mueller. Okay, so that was under that, who got himself some real wingdingers in his little group of thieves, all Hillary supporters just about, and they couldn't come up with a jaywalking, $40-50 million spent, they couldn't come up with a jaywalking thing that Trump did. Trump has been quoted as saying, he says, even my friends came up to me and said, how could they not find anything? You must be the purest man that ever lived. Seriously, because they all hated him. How could they come up with butkus? Zero. Huh? I don't know.
Because there wasn't anything in there, but I'll digress from that too.
Yeah, well, I bet you will.
So we have another couple new comments here on Facebook too.
Oh, let's go. Linda Collier, good morning. Hi, Linda. Thanks for listening to the show. Pamela Tanner, where's John Durham?
You've been asking that for weeks now.
I'm beginning to wonder if there is a John Durham, because we've never heard from that guy. Now Rick still thinks he's coming around, right? John Durham. Where is John Durham?
Don't
Rick?
know.
You told me that he's probably coming now.
I thought he probably was, but I haven't heard anything for a few weeks now at all.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, there you go. It's another one. See? Another thing that didn't come true. Now, I respect you. I know you believe in these things. I'm waiting for it to happen. Okay?
Me too.
All right. In a couple of seconds, we're going to be getting our next interview, I think, and that would be I'm surprised she hasn't called you because usually she's early.
She's got about 30 seconds here.
All right, well, that's fine.
30,
that's
40
enough time
seconds.
for Carlin Germs, isn't it? Let's hit it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this will make you want to get your vaccine shot real fast.
Hit it.
Germs. Where did this sudden fear of germs come from in this country? Have you noticed this? The media constantly running stories about all the latest infections, salmonella, E. coli, hantavirus, bird flu, and Americans they panic easily, so now everybody's running around scrubbing this and spraying that and overcooking their food and repeatedly washing their hands, trying to avoid all contact with germs. It's ridiculous, and it goes to ridiculous lengths. In prisons, before they give you a lethal injection, they swab your arm with alcohol.
Oh, that's
great point.
Good stuff. Okay, so this is a first. I believe she's a little late. This is unusual for her. She usually calls me 5 minutes early.
Well, and last time she came on, she was reacting with our audience on Facebook through comments before and after she was on the show.
Uh-oh. Oh, there she is. Alrighty. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think I know who this is. I think
Yes.
she just gave it away. I think we're going to play a song for her first. Maybe I'll get up and dance. I'm going to dance a little bit. I gotta shake off my legs and get the circulation going. Anyways, go ahead, hit it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cartwheel. Yeah. Double backward somersault. Oh my gosh.
That's a new
All
move,
right,
Dave.
now the splits. Okay. Oh man, I wrecked my crotch again.
It's a good thing
terrible.
we don't have video.
I tore my muscles in my upper leg. Let's call it upper leg instead of crotch. My upper leg area. Anyways, this lady fled Cuba at the age of 6, barely escaping the evil hands of Fidel Castro. She has lived her life in Miami and is a leader in the Latino community, not just Latina. Please welcome to the show the fiery Latina, Liz Farinas.
Hi, Dave.
What happened to you dropped the ball there.
It didn't want to play it first.
Didn't want to play it? Oh, my God. Yeah, it didn't want to play.
I tried to hit it, and it didn't work. I had to do it again.
All right. Yep, there you go. Blame the machinery.
That's what I'm doing.
All right, Lizzie, 9 days, 5 dead Cuban generals.
Yes.
Coincidence?
No.
What's going on?
There's some word out from different people. Some people say they really are dead, and some people are saying in the Cuban community that they have actually escaped. And are in other places.
And left the country?
Yeah.
Where would they be?
Anywhere they can hide. They got
So
money.
these are part of the
I don't know.
communist regime.
I'm not going to assume that this is true, but what I am hearing, there's 2 possibilities. They actually got rid of them for some reason, or they themselves have fled.
Were they joining the revolution, so to speak?
I'm sorry?
Were they joining with the people in the streets protesting the communist government?
I don't know exactly why the regime would actually do something to them, but let me tell you something. 5 people within weeks, that
5
doesn't make
people,
any
9 days.
normal
9 days.
explanation. They could be making them look like they're dead and they're elsewhere.
Yeah.
They could be possibly dead. They could have been turning on them. They could have been not just following the instructions. You know how that works.
Well, yeah, I know how it works, but we don't know exactly in this situation. I thought you've got as much information as anyone else does, probably.
I'm all ears, but I don't know 100%, so I don't want to quote something that I really don't know.
62 years of communism. 62 years of communism. And
Yes.
the Biden administration blames the protests on lack of drugs to fight the pandemic.
That is a lie. They're not asking for COVID vaccines or drugs. They're not asking for food, which is what Biden wanted to give them. I think now he doesn't want to give them anything. But They're only asking for freedom. They're trying themselves to do it themselves. But you got to understand, these people have no guns. They have no knives. They have no sticks. The people that are coming towards them have guns. They have sticks. They come to them in the masses. And then the people that are out in the streets, some are there and will help a little bit, but others are afraid that if they get involved, they're going to go down too. So basically, they're all out, but they're fighting an evil that it's beyond anything that anybody can comprehend. I don't even know how they're holding up. They have no food. Apparently, they're not sleeping much. They're out in the streets every freaking day. And they're going against a communist regime that they don't like you, they will kill you. So that's why I'm saying those 5 people that you were asking me about, I think it's awful strange, 5 of them. It's not 1, it ain't 2, it ain't 3, it's 4,
all this in 9
5
days,
now.
though, too. Hey, Cuba used to be a bipartisan issue between conservatives and Democrats, and it's no longer that. How would you describe it now?
I think it's a disaster, just like Biden. I'm going to say something about him later, but yeah, Biden is a disaster. First of all, he can't think. He's completely and utterly incompetent. In my personal medical view, suffers from Alzheimer's, and I am not a doctor. This is just my personal opinion. Yeah. You know what he said in the new PBS video recently? He actually, in the middle of a speech, inquired, "Where is Mom?" Then someone answered him, "What? Oh, she's watching you." Are you hearing this? "Oh, she's watching you." The problem is his mom died 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Well,
and he doesn't realize
even the Democrats know this.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, go ahead.
So apparently she's watching him from heaven. Yeah. In another video from the government, he stated that he came to the Senate 120 years ago. My question is he a vampire, an alien?
Or is he related to J.J. Bradshaw? Aha! J.J. Bradshaw, the 253-year-old man.
Can you imagine?
Okay.
And the problem is not that alone. He's the ruler of the free world. We're at his mercy.
Yeah.
Nobody respects us. We're in the worst economy in years. He continues to want to lock us down and is basically destroying single-handedly the USA, selling our souls to Cuba, China, Putin, and others.
And the polls are beginning to drop, though.
Good.
Yeah.
Listen, I think he's going to drop.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, this man is not well medically. Remember how they made all this big deal about Trump not being well and how he needed to be tested by the doctor, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And he came out with flying colors. What's happened with this one? Why are they not testing him?
I don't know. You know,
everything is a fraud.
Why aren't they doing a lot of things that they tried to do to Trump? I mean, it's so different. The press just, wants to get him through the next question, much less get him through the administration. I mean, they don't...
but the problem is now that Dave, that he sometimes needs to talk, and whenever he talks, he acts very, very strange and bizarre, and he doesn't look even human. He almost looks like he's ready to be put in the coffin. He almost looks like when they put you, how they fixed you to get you ready for your last rites and whatever they do. Oh my God, he just looks like he's not well, and they're trying to cover this up. And
everybody knows that, though. Everybody knows that, and that's why people are questioning: how did this guy get 81 million votes? Okay, how did he get 81 million votes?
Do you know the last video I saw in Dan Scavino's site on Telegram?
Yeah.
He came to one of the states, and what he found was a whole bunch of Trump supporters greeting him.
Yeah, we were
with
just
Biden's
talking about that.
Saying, "We don't want you. You're not our president."
Pennsylvania, his home state. Okay.
Yes.
He can't draw a crowd there.
Can you imagine? Yeah, it was in his home state, exactly.
Yeah.
So you saw it. Yes.
So what do you wish will happen there? Will the military? Is there a chance the military might turn on the leaders? Because other than that, you have no weapons, as you pointed out.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's
so
what
that's
we're
your best
hoping
hope.
For,
and that could have been a coup over the military. Okay, that could have been a coup over the military. What happened? These were all military generals. Wasn't
Probably.
So that could have happened there.
Yes, it's very possible. Anything is possible. See, everything in Cuba is very top secret. Like, what we hear here about Cuba is not what they're saying to Cuba, the people, because since they don't have internet, they turn off the lights, they turn off their phones, they cut off their information. That way they can feed to the people whatever it is that they want to feed, including saying that they're wonderful and that they go out in the streets and they're not hurting anybody. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, of course not.
Well,
there's pictures of that. Go ahead.
Yep, and Liz, we have a comment here from Pamela Tanner. She's one of our loyal listeners saying, what is happening in Cuba right now is why Americans must never surrender our guns.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely
well,
true.
exactly that's what they took from the Cubans. The first thing that they took was their guns, then their freedom of speech, then their freedom of religion, then their freedoms just to be free and their freedoms to work and being controlled. There's such a relationship to me in what I'm seeing in the Biden administration. Now they want to put masks on us again. Okay. That is just going to destroy the economy.
Yeah.
That is not going to help anything. Most of the people are vaccinated already. I don't think the statistics on the COVID deaths are real. They're inflated. Some people are dying for other reasons, and they're saying it's COVID. That's how you control
That
mass
has always been
people,
the
and you
case
create
in this
hysteria.
pandemic, is that suddenly the flu got cured. Nobody has the flu anymore.
Yes.
It's either COVID or nothing.
Nobody has the flu.
Yeah.
We all had COVID. COVID got
Yeah.
better, and now we're going for the next one.
Yeah.
That is not normal. This is communism. Biden.
So tell me
Obama,
again. Tell me what else is
Hillary,
going on in terms
all of them.
Tell me what else is going on in terms of Cubans in America, American Cubans, I should say. What's going on to get the United States
stopping. This
to do
Saturday, there is another huge event here in front of Bayfront Park. All kinds of people are going there. We're going to, as long as the people in Cuba are in the streets, we will be in the streets. Because that's the only way that we can send a message to them that we are with them. There is a gentleman, his name is Alexander Otaola, who has such a big show, I told you the last time.
Yeah.
And he is the organizer of that march. Do you know how many people went to that march that was put in YouTube and whatever? You could see the Capitol building all the way in Timbuktu, and they were all headed towards the embassy of Cuba in Washington.
Wow.
There must have been 100,000 people there. 100,000 people. We took over the place.
Okay, I want you to take a sentence or two and speak in Espanol, and give a message to all your Cuban friends out there.
Okay. Yo le pido a mis amistades en Cuba y en los Estados Unidos y los que están aquí en todas las partes del mundo que por favor no se den por vencidos, que esto es un problema muy serio y el presidente de los Estados Unidos tiene que actuar y nosotros no vamos a parar de estar con ustedes mientras que ustedes estén en la calle, nosotros vamos a estar con ustedes, así que vamos a rezarle mucho a nuestro Señor Dios y vamos a desear la libertad de Cuba y que los Estados Unidos y Cuba sean uno.
Okay.
What I just said
All right.
What I just said was that I'm praying that the Cuban people do not give up, that what I'm hoping is for freedom, that as long as you're in the streets, we will be in the streets, and that we're hoping that the United States and Cuba can be one.
How can people find you?
I got another thing to share. Do you want to hear?
Okay, go ahead. One more thing.
Okay. You know that Jeff Zink reached out to me.
Yeah. Wait a minute. He just said something here. Jeff Zink, hold on. He's going to be on right after you, by the way. I love that you played Hannity with Dan and Geraldo. There is one thing that Dan can't say. He was there. I can say that I was there. He can't say that he was there. Yeah, he cannot. But Jeff Zink, I can say that I was there on January 6th, and we're going to be talking to him, guess when? In about 15 minutes. Holy cow. All right, so what else do you have to say?
What I want to say is that he has invited me to speak. God willing, all goes well. I'm headed to Arizona, the 10th,
9/11,
the 11th,
right?
and the 12th, and it's going to be a big event.
Good.
It's going to be a 9/11 event.
I know.
I will be speaking twice, one time in front of probably 3,000 people.
Yeah.
You've been my mentor, so hopefully I've had some practice. with you on radio, and I will be speaking at 6 p.m. at a political event. It should be 2 events. There's going to, as he has explained, there's going to be fighter planes passing above us and everything else. Then a huge party afterwards and a VIP event, which I'm going to do. And I don't know how this has happened to me, but I am so grateful. And I'm just praying that all goes well. And he is in the process of preparing the flyers right now, and he already asked me for my biography and my photo, and he's got it already.
Well, that'll be something else, and we'll throw the video of that all over our website. Okay. Hey, did you?
That would be a professional video. I will be a guest, so I will not be able to be with my phone as I normally will be, but it will be around, trust me.
And Jeff's going to be on, like I said.
He's going to be putting it out as soon as he's got all the flyers put together and all the guests that he wants to have. He's going to slowly put them out. And he told me that I could speak about it, so that's why I'm saying
Okay, I've got another important question to ask you. Did you hear about the flashlight that was arrested?
No. Is that me?
No. It was charged with battery. It was charged with battery. She's laughing. I don't care what you did with the crickets.
Yeah, that one didn't work for me, sorry.
Oh, well.
No, I'm laughing at myself. I'm throwing it back at you. I got a good teacher.
All right, Lizzie, you have a great weekend. Thanks again for being a star on the Dave Weinbaum Show. And keep being what you are, the fiery Latina. Thank you. All right. Oh, you found the applause button now. I give you crickets on the applause button.
Hey, one miscue in a year. I'm doing pretty good here.
We have to have a committee to find out how you missed the applause thing on Liz Cabrera's. Are you anti-Cuban or what?
Okay, Nancy Pelosi, get to work on that.
All right. Okay.
I'm hearing you.
Oh, she's still there.
I'm still here.
Wow, he got a bit there. He got a quick bit of Nancy Pelosi laughing. No. That was Liz.
Luckily, that was Liz instead of.
I hate to be crude here, but I have to do the rest of the show. Huh?
Thank you to all of you for all the opportunities that you've given me on radio.
Well, thank you for the opportunity of having you on the radio. You've always been a big hit, and I appreciate how you listen. You got me, Jeff Zink. You got me into the Arizona audit.
I know.
The most important.
And not Jeff Zink got me.
I did. I've mentioned you too. I've mentioned you about it. All right. And if you need any jokes, for your speech in Arizona, let me know. I'll give you some jokes. Okay.
And I'll send the cricket button along with them.
Yeah. No. You keep the cricket button under wraps here. All right. Thanks, Lizzie. I gotta go. Bye.
I know. Bye.
Bye. Okay. What else do we got here?
We got some more comments here for Liz.
Pamela Tanner. Cuba sounds just like communist China. Well, they are. I mean, they're pretty.
It's part of the problem.
It is communism. You are right, Liz. Okay, that's from Amy. Amy Howdishell and Pamela Tanner. Liz, I am praying with you. That's great. Okay, thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
And in about 12 minutes, we've got Jeff Zink coming on. To talk about a bunch of things. He was there on 1/6, and his son got arrested. So apparently he's listening to this. Oh, boy. Call the show, 573-578-2700, or leave me a message on Facebook and or my site, DaveWeinbaum.net.
Yep. If you're listening on the website, you can comment there. We are monitoring those as well.
Okay. Let's do another bit. I don't have any left. I've got, let's do the Animal House one. Okay?
Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
And it ain't over now. Because when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Who's with me? Let's go! Come on! Where's the spirit? Where's the guts? Huh? This could be the greatest night of our lives. But you're gonna let it be the worst. Ooh! go with you, Pluto. We might get in trouble. Well, just kiss my ass from now on. Not me. I'm not gonna take this. Warner, he's a dead man. Marmalade, dead. Nehemiah, dead. Pluto's right. Psychotic, but absolutely right. We gotta take these bastards. Now, we could fight them with conventional weapons. That could take years and cost millions of lives. No, in this case, I think we have to go all out. I think this situation absolutely requires a really futile and stupid gesture be done on somebody's part. We're just the guys to do it. Let's do it.
Let's go! Come on! Let's go! 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 And we have a caller. Hi there, welcome to the show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, your best friend forever, Karen Lewis.
Hey, how are you?
Well, I guess it'd be better if the CDC didn't start this really ignorant stuff again.
Yeah, well.
And I want to voice my opinion on that.
All right.
You know, because didn't it say recommended, but not has to?
Say that again. Recommended.
Wording?
Are you talking about the shots?
Recommended instead of required. Yeah.
No, the mask.
Oh, the mask. The mask is no. Now it's required. It's being mandated by in the at least in the government right now, and the problem is they don't have the science yet. The science really has never proved that the mask did anything other than a very highly technical surgical mask that some doctors wear that don't work if you pull them down below your nose. So, I mean, it's very, very shoddy science at best.
Yeah, at best, you know, and people, surely, to goodness, even some of the Democrats, aren't they up in arms about this? I mean, it can't be all Republicans and...
I'm pretty sure there are. But you're not going to see that on the mainstream media. You're going to see that you're going to see the Republicans are going to be the ones that they're going to be talking about, because the Republicans aren't putting up with it. You know, they have the police, the Capitol Police have orders to arrest Republicans if they're not wearing a mask. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Well, I believe anything coming out of the Democrat side. I mean, they're the party of absolute hate. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why is this going on?
They think they think they're smart. They think they're smart. Okay. They think this is smart politics. And they got away with murder in the 2020 elections, and they think they've got to close the deal now forever, because they also know that they're susceptible to these audits out there that we're going to talk about in about 8 minutes with Jeff Zink from Arizona.
Yeah, so, I mean, anxious to hear that as well, you know.
Yeah,
and I did Google where is John Durham, and it seems like there's nothing on there, you know. Even Google, you know, wanted to know if that'd be helpful. That would be helpful, and I said no.
I glanced on a milk carton the other day, and I thought I saw his picture there.
It's about the only way you're going to find it these days.
The only way. Yeah. There wasn't any recording or anything, so it was just his picture.
Instead of Carmen San Diego's going to be, where is John Durham? Try to find him somewhere on the globe.
Durham.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you know, this all this business with this voting stuff, but with the I call him Bite Me, so and then Camel Toe, so I don't get in Facebook jail or Facebook jail, and it keeps me out of there from not saying their names. You know.
Yeah.
You know, those are two. Other than old Blow Me, that's
all
those.
Right.
Those
Karen, stop repeating everything that gets you busted on Facebook here, okay? Stop it.
I know, but
the show's on Facebook right now.
Okay, well, anyway, they're three of the biggest illegals in the White House.
Yes, okay. I appreciate that. And
anyway, I'll let you go.
All right, thank you, Karen. I appreciate you kept yourself under control there for a long time. All right, thanks, Karen. You have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling. Bye.
Oy vey. All right. Anyhow, in about 5 minutes, you can call the show. By the way, we've got some stuff here.
Yep, and a couple new comments.
Oh, wait, there's a couple. There's a guy from Twitter. Holy cow, Alan Little, and we got Pamela Tanner. Fox News refuses to advertise the Cyber Symposium August 10th through 12th, organized by Mike Lindell. So Mike Lindell has pulled all of his ads off of Fox, and he had a lot of them on Fox, too. I mean, I don't know where this guy is going to go. But, oh, yeah, this guy is the biggest banned person now, just short of Trump.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's got proof.
The way he's pushing, I think he might be banned more than Trump.
Well, he's got proof.
Because he's got some good evidence.
He's got a countersuit against Dominion.
Yep.
For about the same amount as they're suing him.
$1.5 billion, I think.
Billion, yeah, the billions. You got Alan Little, who I think is from. I think he's from Twitter. The N95 surgical masks, the ones I just talked to, are only effective for 20 minutes outside of an operating room. Wearing them outside of a sterile environment, they must be changed every 20 minutes. Let me read that again. I kind of chopped that up. The N95 surgical masks are only effective for 20 minutes outside of an operating room. Wearing them outside of a sterile environment, they must be changed every 20 minutes. So, we got another one from Jeff Zink. Why the hell don't you just call the show, Jeff? I'm open now. If you would like to learn more about remembering 9/11, a tribute to our first responders, please go to www.actioncd7.com. That's www.actioncd7.com. We are selling flags to raise money for the Tunnels to Towers, Folds of Honors, and Arizona Rangers. The cost for the general admission is only $5. I look forward to seeing you there at Corona Ranch on Saturday, September the 9th, 2021. That's Jeff Zink from Arizona. All right. Yeah, that's Alan Little, Fastban, at Fastban, I believe, at Fastaland 89. So he's one of the guys that helps push the show.
Yep,
I do a lot of work on Twitter. I appreciate everybody.
Please always remember to share our show. That's the best way to spread the word.
I really appreciate it. I should start naming them as we go along, but I don't have the list with me right now. But thanks to everybody who pushes. There's a lot of people out there, both on Facebook and Twitter, that push this show. And it's pushed this show to be listened to all over the world, literally. I only speak one language, and it's English, and it's not that good, quite frankly. I write a lot better than I speak it. But here I am. And I'm doing the best I can with what I got, and I think I'm reasonable about the subjects I picked. I think it's a good day to have this kind of a show because I encapsulize a whole week's worth of news, and going into the weekend, you're going to hear the highlights of everything that's going on. Play Tucker Migrant, number 4 there.
Approximately 50,000 migrants caught crossing the southern border have been released into our country without a court date. Now, technically, those migrants have been instructed to report to ICE offices, but they don't. Studies show only about 10% of them have done. Probably fewer than that will. An immigration official just told this show that this is now standard operating procedure. So you get caught crossing the border, not just from Mexico or Honduras or Guatemala, but maybe from across the ocean. Maybe from the Middle East, from Africa, from the Caribbean. And you're told to show up at an ICE office wherever you choose to settle. And according to 2 whistleblowers from Joe Biden's HHS, many of these migrants are infected with COVID-19. Quote, hundreds of children contracted COVID in the overcrowded conditions in the migrant shelters, the whistleblower said in a new federal complaint, Adequate masks were not consistently provided to children, nor was their use consistently enforced. Think about that. Your kindergartner is going to be forced to wear a mask because the teachers' unions are in charge of the Biden administration's health policy. But illegal migrants with COVID don't have to wear masks.
Okay, that was Tucker Carlson with an update on our border. And I also want you to play Don Lemon from CNN, who has an opinion about vaccines. Go ahead, hit it, please.
Don't get the vaccine, you can't go to the supermarket. Don't have the vaccine, you don't show it, can't go to the ball game. Don't have the vaccine, can't go to work. You don't have the vaccine, can't come here. No shirt, no shoes, no service. That's where I think we should be right now, because we continue to waste our breath on people who are just not going to change. They're, the circular logic. They just keep going back and saying, well, it's my freedom, it's whatever. I'm free. Well, your kid's not free to give other kids meningitis in schools. You got to take a vaccine to do that. You got to take vaccines in order to be employed. So what is the big deal? And all these people who are saying, I don't want to put this stuff in my body. They're out drinking on the weekend and putting other substances in their bodies. That's way worse for them than a vaccine. So come on, let's be real.
That's Dr. Lemon, right? And I think we have a guest on, and I think we should play a song for him. What do you think?
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time to stand and say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died.
My next guest is a husband, father, January 6th attendee. He's a kinesiologist, an athlete, and he's running for the U.S. Senate in Arizona. Please give a rousing welcome to Jeff Zink.
Thanks, Dave, for having me on.
My pleasure. Always a pleasure to hear from you. You're also the Arizona audit guy, one of the Arizona audit leaders. Tell us, first of all, about your and your son's experience on January 6th.
Oh, my gosh. The thing is that in watching the election here in Arizona, we had at 7:30, the polls had closed at 7:30, watching Fox News and locally, and then they came on with 1% of the count done at that time.
Yeah.
And they called it for Biden.
That was
1%.
local? That was local?
That was local, yes.
So they were ordered by somebody to do that. They would never have done that without permission from the main office, so to speak.
That's correct. And the thing is that at that point I decided that, the fix was in. I thought that something was amiss. And then I went to January 6th. My son decided that he would come with me. At the time, he was a journalist student at Texas Tech University. And we went to go and support of our president, Donald J. Trump. And I wanted to see history being made. I really seriously thought that at the time, Arizona would stand up and object to the Electoral College that Doug Ducey and Katie Hobbs had certified, that the Board of Supervisors had certified here in Arizona, and that was not something that was certifiable. And so I decided to go to January 6th. We landed, stayed with some relatives there, and then on January 6th at 5 a.m. Was there on the Capitol grounds, walked over to where Donald Trump was going to speak. We took pictures. I've got videos of all of this that had taken place. Then after we watched the speech and heard President Trump say that we are now going to peacefully protest and let our voices be heard, we went to the Capitol. And
you were live and you heard this, right? The same day. You were live. You heard the president say that live. Is that correct?
Exactly. I was there when he said it. And the thing that got me is that when we went to the Capitol, one of the things that I've noticed, and I haven't heard one person say this, so you're getting a scoop here that nobody's talking about. If you listen to any of the audio of people that took the video or audio at January 6th prior to the 2 o'clock when everything started, there are whistles that were being blown. And I can tell you that standing there, what we heard is a whistle very close to us, then one distance away, and then another one further away. And what happened is that they started coordinating, and when they all became solid, all of them were whistling at the same time, then events started. People started going towards the bicycle barriers. At that time, there were some altercations with the police, and the police.
Okay, wait a minute. I want to hold you up there. You heard a bunch of sirens go off?
Well, they're whistles.
Whistles. Whistles.
Whistle.
And it sounded like somebody was trying to deliver signals, and things began to happen.
Correct.
Right? I just wanted to get that straight. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So when they became solid, a solid tone, then all of a sudden action started taking place. And then there was then they stopped. And then
what action was taking place?
The people started rattling against the bicycle barriers that were there, and the Capitol Police engaged this small group.
Which group of people? Could you identify them?
Absolutely. It would be the Antifa and Black Lives Matter that was dressed in Trump supporter hats. They had the flags. They had all of those things, because later we have video of the same people that had all that, had taken all that off, and now was in solid black, had their face covered, had helmets on, and now was actually doing damage and trying to enter into the Capitol and actually engage with the Capitol Police. I saw this firsthand.
Wow. Okay, so what was the reaction of the Capitol Police when were the Capitol Police in on this too?
Well, I actually have video of after that first small altercation where nobody went past the barriers or anything else. As soon as that happened, then I have video of the Capitol Police leaving our area and only having a handful. There's probably no more than 5 to 7 Capitol Police standing in front of what would be thousands of people at this bicycle barrier that they had set up. So if you were concerned, if you thought that something was going to happen, why would you retreat and take most of your forces away from a crowd?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a video of some guy going up to a bunch of people dressed in these odd black uniforms with big masks on, saying, "Why aren't you doing anything about it?" A Trump supporter. "Why aren't you doing anything about this? Can't you see there's a problem?" And they didn't.
Yes,
they didn't
was
move.
On the steps of the Senate is where that took place, very close to where I was.
All right.
So then what happened is that the Capitol Police that were there unhooked the bicycle barriers, opened them up, and I have video of a Capitol Police waving us onto the premises.
Yeah.
Was he
wearing a MAGA hat?
The Capitol Police was not.
Yeah, I have a video of a guy who was a black cop, a Capitol cop, I think, but he was removing barriers and he was wearing a MAGA hat and opening the door for people to come in.
Actually, that was a Black Lives Matter person that had dressed up as a Capitol Police. We actually have video of that as well. And so what then transpired from that point is we went to the base of the Capitol in between the House and the Senate, and we were watching. I had video of a Antifa with a grappling hook that he has in his hand. So why would somebody have a grappling hook? He had his face was covered with a mask. He had very dark skiing goggles on and a helmet, totally dressed. I was not, I only had a long sleeve shirt and a jacket on at that time and dress pants, and was walking around and watching and videoing this as we progressed. Then there was the surge towards the Capitol to breach the door. And what I wanted to do was I got onto the porch of the Capitol, and I went to the Senate side. And when I did that, I then videoed, along with my son, Hunter Empty. How I know this is that
wait a minute. What was that? Hunter Empty. What's that?
Hunter Empty is the name of an Antifa man that was kicked in 5 windows there on the Capitol. I videoed him getting onto the ledge, kicking the first one, second one, third one, punching the next one, and then the third or the fifth one, and he had all the panes of glass broken. And then the Capitol Police swept his legs out from underneath him, took him down, and then arrested him. Well, when they arrested him, I went over to the captain. I handed him my congressional card, which has my name on it. Jeff Zink, forcongress.com, has my phone number on it, my email, and I handed it to him. And I said, I just videoed this gentleman here, and when you're ready to prosecute him, contact me. I will provide this video for you to prosecute him to the full extent of the law.
Okay, so what happened?
I was contacted in regards to Hunter Empty being prosecuted.
Yeah, you were not contacted, or you were?
That's right. I have not been contacted.
Yeah.
So fast forward.
Yeah.
My son posted a video live on Facebook at the time that we were walking towards the Capitol. He stated storming. We're storming the Capitol, which then made him complicit to what took place on Capitol grounds, according to the prosecutor that then is now prosecuting him, which is another interesting deal because, my son is a West Texas born and raised kid who literally loves hunting, fishing, and all of the things that Americans do. And on February the 4th at 3 o'clock in the morning, 15 federal agents kicked in his door, flashbanged him and his dog, took him down, arrested him for and charged him with 2 felonies and 2 misdemeanors. He's facing 47 years in federal penitentiary, while we have video of Hunter Empty, who we found out later only had his name, address written down off of his driver's license, which was then handed back to him, and he was later released. We actually have video later of the same kid, the same gentleman, doing damage once again the same day to the Capitol.
Okay, have you gone to other news outlets besides this, the Dave Weinbaum Show?
Nope, not yet. You're the first.
I would suggest you go to OAN.
Yes, Christina Bobb has reached out to me here just recently. She's just learned what I have to offer, and she also wants to get the videos to piece together. And so we're gonna be doing a story at some point here in the next couple of weeks.
Let me also suggest Kara McEnany there, and she is also she interviews a person that's on the show a lot, which is Elad Hakim, the lawyer. And, wow, that's dynamite stuff. Okay?
Absolutely. Well, and the thing is that...
Do you have a lawyer?
He does have a lawyer.
Good.
And that's the reason why he was released. He was incarcerated for 6 weeks. And and then finally released. And so he's now home in Texas. However, he lost his business.
Yeah.
He lost his house in this whole ordeal. It's costing a fortune. And the problem is that anytime we set up a GoFundMe or any type of fundraising deal to offset the costs of the attorney, they keep getting taken down. Social media is trying to prevent any type of help for what's taking place. And the problem that I'm seeing is that we have Hunter Empty, a Democrat that is not being prosecuted. I have my son, who is obviously a Republican, who is being prosecuted. So my phrase that I've been saying here all along is that you're guilty until proven Democrat.
Yeah. Another guy probably would be maybe even Tucker Carlson to take this on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and seeing the reason why I haven't reached out is because I am the only congressional candidate that is directly involved with the Arizona audit.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that I need to talk about, because Ken has been on your program with me and everything. And then you called me up during the Trump rally and asked me, what was going on to confirm what had happened. And so after multiple media leaks that Ken had of sensitive data, and then to leak it to Larry Moore, who has been an outspoken advocate of the Board of Supervisors and against the audit, he had given him numbers which were not accurate. They were speculative at the time, but we still have not had any numbers that have come out.
Hold on a minute. Wait, hold your horses. Ken Bennett leaked out material to a person that is an enemy of the audit?
Correct.
Your buddy, Ken Bennett, did this?
Correct.
Oh, my God.
So, one of the things
Talk about amazing news. Wow.
Yeah. Well, and it is sad. And the thing is that the reason he wasn't asked to resign. He wasn't asked to, step down or anything like that. He was barred from entering the area where the ballots were, where the counting was taking place, where the sensitive data is, because he couldn't be trusted. And even when he went on another radio program,
I heard him.
He stated that. He stated that he had leaked that information, that he felt bad, that he didn't want to have, to have that happen. He thought that it was in confidence and stuff, and he trusted Larry Moore, and unfortunately it didn't. But, as any investigation, data leaked is a serious hindrance to any type of progress that's being made.
Well, sure. And it discredits the audit a little bit.
Right.
After all.
And so his statement of, he doesn't know if he could continue. Well, he is going to continue and stuff, because we have Randy Poland. There are several other Senate deputies that are still actively working and still in progress. Information with the liaisons to the Senate, Senator Fan, is still going on. There's not been any severance of information flowing to the Senate and stuff. It's just that we had, unfortunately, Ken had leaked out that information, and so he was not allowed to.
Well, let me ask you. You know Ken pretty well. What was his motive?
I think that he's a very trusting person, and he trusted somebody who can't be trusted.
So, was this a political thing for him? Was it? Do you think it was? He was doing stuff to hurt the audit that he was on. He had to know that if it was found out that this would be a blow to the audit, didn't he?
Well, I think that that's a question that you would have to ask him his motives and stuff. I don't have an idea. What I do is I run this gauntlet of answering questions because, see, here's the same thing. While I haven't revealed anything that's actually gone onto the floor, the process and stuff, I only do state what the Senate has released. I do the things that I have been told. One of the statement that I've just read you was one that was approved by the Senate. They are very aware that I come on to the show. They also are very aware that I'm a congressional candidate, and I do keep secrets. I'm on it. Yeah. I did sign an NDA.
Right.
If you ask me specific things in regards to the audit, I would have to say I'm very sorry, but I'm under an NDA. I cannot disclose anything that I've seen or what I'm aware of at the audit until the report is released.
You had a hearing on the Senate floor, which Ken Bennett was participating in, where it came out that there were 74,243 mail-in ballots that were never mailed. So, I mean, that was public, wasn't it?
It was public. It was brought out into the hearing. It was something that we.
Has it been answered?
It hasn't at this time. Here's the actual findings, which is going to be something that will floor everybody. The subpoenas in February for the ballots and equipment of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. Okay, we have 37,646 secure queries in March where they deleted the logs of the Dominion machines. We actually recovered those deleted logs, and we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
But needed to let people know there are 3,981 registered and voters, and they voted after the October 15th deadline. So basically, the 29 days is the cutoff date.
You mean they registered after the October 15th deadline? Is that correct? Yeah.
But that's because a judge said no, 29 days is too far out. You need to make it closer. So the October 15th was the deadline. Well, we still had 3,981 people register after the 15th.
Illegally. Not legally.
Illegally.
Right. Okay.
So now you have 11,326 that voted on the voter roll as of November the 11th, but they never showed up on the rolls until after 12 or December the 4th.
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that we need to look at was Katie Hobbs' office that swamp that it was something that they put in afterwards, but it was perfectly legal. Nobody will answer those questions. Now
you've got about 100,000 or more votes that are in question here. Is that correct?
Correct. Once you add up all of those, because again, we have 74,243 mail-in ballots with no evidence of ever being sent out. So if they were sent out, then there would be evidence that we had, but there's none. There's no evidence. So
should be easy to find if they were mailed, shouldn't it?
That what?
I mean, if these things were actually mailed, it should be easy to find. Either you're going to find it or not, and it should have been an answer by now, shouldn't there?
Correct.
Okay.
And that's where the forensic audit is coming in. That's where cyber ninjas are taking a look at what's taking place with each and every ballot and stuff. And my position with the audit is working with the Senate. I vetted all of the observers that were allowed to be on the audit floor. I can say 100% for fact because I'm the gentleman that vetted them, along with Steve and Shelby with We the People AZ Alliance.
Yeah.
And we made sure that they had a background check, a criminal background check, that they had a social media background check, so that each and every person that went on was either a Democrat, an independent, a Republican, a Libertarian, a Tea Party, Patriot Party, and Green Party. All of them were represented onto the floor, and I can say that for a fact because you're talking to the gentleman that approved it.
Okay, so all right, so the status of this Arizona audit is still okay. It's fine. All right, there's nothing that has happened that's going to either some dramatic breakthrough of the people who are withholding information or something like that. There's nothing that's going to happen that's going to change that until the report comes out, right? So there's still a probability of a different result in this race, maybe. If everything you say is true, that's the conclusion you can't make, but I can make it, and so can people listening to this. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right.
So
now,
one of the things that we're also looking at, and I always tell everybody, go to Katie Hobbs, the Secretary of State website, take a look at the numbers. And her numbers on her website have not been reconciled. How do you certify an election when you haven't rectified the numbers on her own website? There is a 15,000 vote difference between what she has on her own website, and that 15,000 hasn't been rectified yet.
And she is the person. She's the Secretary of State. Is that correct?
Correct.
And she is the person responsible to certify the election. Am I right? And she didn't have the information to do it, and yet she still did it.
Still did it, and Doug Ducey also did it. So they're both complicit. And then our Board of Supervisors have said, nothing to see here, folks. It's the safest, most secure election ever.
Wow. All right, let me go on here. I only got a couple minutes left. That's very interesting. I got to have you back. Rumors were that Twitter cut off reference to the Arizona audit the other day. I'm wondering about the other states now. You've got Georgia that has found a bunch of stuff. Pennsylvania has announced they're doing it. Michigan might be doing it. Wisconsin announced they're going to do it. You got also all these other states. Even Texas is doing it. What's the status of other states, if you know?
Well, one of the things is that now that I am coming to a close with the Arizona audit, there are going to be conversations that are taking place with other states that want to bring key people, key personnel that's in the audit with Arizona to their state so that we can give them the expertise that we have already gleaned so they can start at where we finished and they can make the process that much better. So those conversations as of yesterday, Maricopa came by and picked up the ballots. So the ballots are now in the treasurer's hands. And I am free to start my campaign, and I'm free now to start doing the things that I need to do of looking to help other states and stuff. So those conversations are going to start.
Wow, this is big stuff. And if Trump gets back into office, he's got to make you the czar of audits, the czar of forensic audits. I'm serious about this. We ought to do this. It ought to get passed in all sorts of legislatures that this is done after every national election that we have. Anyhow, listen, this has been great. I'm going to have to cut you off here. I got about 49 seconds. Thank you so much. What a great interview, and God bless you and your son, and stay in touch, okay?
All right, I will, Dave. Thank you very much
Jeff.
for having me on.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Wow! Holy cow!
Bye-bye.
What are you saying bye-bye for?
Bye-bye. You're done.
It's 30 seconds. I can do a lot in 30 seconds.
Hey, great guest today, Dave.
Yes,
great ones.
That was exciting.
Wow! All right, listen. Thanks everybody for listening. I'm gobsmacked right now. I didn't expect that. Whew! Couple of big scoops on the Dave Weinbaum Show. You guys have a great weekend, okay?